as well. But yeah, so basically next week we'll be having 3 streams on this channel. I'll try to make Tuesday nice and long to make up for it. But then, if I'm not mistaken, we will be on EGC both days of that coming weekend as well. So basically, like you're getting a ridiculous amount of me per week. I don't know if that's a good thing. Some people rate that as a good thing. I don't know what's wrong with those people. I try not to judge. But let me get the game started up because you know me, I like to check if there's anyone live. Louis been a bit inactive, by the way. I don't know what's going on there. It might be that he has a secret account because remember he is actually still like playing in this tournament. It's not like he's out of the tournament and now he's just gone and played Stormgate or something. So he's definitely got a smurf somewhere because he was last online on his main 4 days ago, I think it was. And I struggle to believe that he has for 4 days not touched the game. We are doing some good old millionaire shortbread today, by the way. I really like this one. I'd say usually I'm not a big fan of like chocolatey liquids, but it's the fact you can taste the caramel in there quite nicely and the bisque undertones. All comes together really nice. But let's start off the day before we just default to the Myriad Puppy Paw game, which I know will definitely be a banger. I want to see if, actually let me update the title, there's any live games. Because live games obviously are a little bit harder to grab sometimes, depending on the people. Who's Dragavan? Oh, dude, please, Dragavan, be queuing into Dimmu. Please. Damn it. Who the hell stay with me? 131st, actually. They ranked 200 last season, 310 season before. You know, I think we'll start with the Myriad Puppy Paw, maybe catch a little bit of Dragavan later. The only one I wanted to check is if Dimmu's happened to queue into like a Louis or something. Let's have a quick look. Am I ready for the comeback? Oh, is he back? Is he back at it? Voldemort. What's happening? Did mum and dad let you stay up past your bedtime again? Poogers? Next week? What's going on next week? What are you up to? Wait, what's this alluding to? Every single match history have your name. Good. That means my Monday, my Tuesday, and my Friday are going to be so Voldemort-filled that we're going to have to go back to this. The Voldemort tracker will return. That's what he wants. It's like free advertising, right? All right, so let me quickly have a look. As we said, we're going to check if there's anyone live. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like the game has been very inactive from a leaderboard perspective at the moment, right? Maybe that's just like the... I mean, you can kind of expect that to a certain degree, right? We're deep in a season, but it has made it kind of exhausting to find original content, right? Like, God knows, I don't even look at Drongo's channel, so I don't know if like he's still doing the free-for-alls, he's back to 1v1s, but I wouldn't be surprised if me and him have been uploading a bunch of the same games. Full stack player. Whoop, whoop. Like full stack dev, but in the gaming term, I guess. Oh yeah, how's the development stuff going? I noticed you were being a little nerd. Scriptamar? Yeah, dude. He's, you know what that is? He's learning to hack so that he can just basically beat Beasty. He's just gonna, like, inject code into Beasty's PC. And then, like, no. The smart part is it's not malicious code. It's simply so that when Beasty ends his stream, he automatically raids Voldemort. That's how Voldemort becomes the #1 streamer. I already know your Sith ways, okay? So let's have a look. Yeah, we got Puppy Paw versus Myriad. That's the one I want. That's the money shot, baby. Is anything interesting happening on Reddit today? I always like to give it a little ganders. Probably not. Yo, actually, like, Voldemort, how many hours do you have on AoE for? I'm kind of curious. All right, what was that? I just noticed this, like, what was it? This post that popped up. Whoopsie. It's not the thing. Yeah. 4.5k? Oh my god, you guys like need to get a life. I think I'm only at like 2.1k actually, surprisingly enough. I don't know how I'm only at 2.1k. I mean, in fairness, like I spend a lot of hours like watching through like an observer or whatever, right? So that skews the hours as well, I guess. I guess I'm close to like 3.5 or something like that. Is there anything interesting happening on here today, though? Would anyone else like to zoom out a lot more? No, dude. Like the game has such bad visual acuity at like the distance currently, right? That's why I've been zooming in. Like I don't know how people have been feeling about that recently when I zoom in. I don't know if they like it or hate it. But like the logic for me is from a graphical rendering perspective, especially on the stream, it makes like because you've got more on screen, it clutters, which ramps up the amount of processing happening, which means the low bit rate that things like Twitch and YouTube are applied don't look very good, right? So like with Twitch especially, it makes things look bad. So that's like why I've been zooming in a bit more recently. It's also just better for thumbnail grabbing later for sure. But that's another reason why I really want to... I've really been trying desperately to find a PC sponsor. Because the logic there is if I get a banger of a PC, we can just ramp all the encoding settings up to max so that the bitrate, although it has its limitations still, won't be as big of a handcuffer because we'll have extra processing power. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't think AoE 2 and AoE 4 are the same game anyway. Like, even with that mind, even when you look at the game yourself, like, if we... Look. The game is much more blended into the assets than I'd say like an AoE 2. Now AoE 2 is obviously going to be more pixelated, but like I think because of the graphical style, things pop against their backdrop much more than they do in 4, right? What we got? Your opponent is viewing FOW for 0. Wait, yeah. Actually, legit, dude. When someone tells you to check if someone's hacking, this is the full experience, right? Like, you go into master snooper mode, and you just feel like you're scrutinizing every tiny little detail. Did anyone... what do people say in the end? Because I think I saw some responses to this. Because I mentioned... I don't know if you checked this out yet, Voldemar. We created Pigeon's View. Go check out Pigeon's View. Let me know what you think. It's like a 10 times better high view. Dude, that game of high view we cast yesterday, I lost brain cells for sure. I lost so many brain cells. I'm like, it's cool this game is back and forth, but the way it's back and forth is dumb. And it's all because of high view. What are we doing today? We are going to be streaming for about 4.5 more hours. And then I'm going to be going and doing bouldering. And then I've got the charity pub quiz I helped my friend with in the evening. I might have to, like, I don't know. I might have to look into whether I can keep doing that moving forward. I've been feeling recently like I'm just not using my time very well. And while it's for a good cause, at the same time, like, dude, I'm literally at a point where I'm not even making break-even sums of money out of all the efforts I put in different fields. So I need to reassess. Pop quiz pigeon 8? Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's usually an excuse to just have some fun, raise some money, and get drunk. Like, half the time, I feel like I'm not even drinking for one reason or another at the moment. Like, I don't want to drink this weekend because of how rough I felt last weekend, even though it wasn't alcohol. I just don't want to risk it for the biscuit. New maps and actual good ones? Yeah, check out Pigeon's View, trust me. Highview can be a good map, it's just poorly implemented. And the sad reality is the devs don't want to actually go back and fix, like, you know, flawed maps, even though they can work. By the way, we're going to be trying the pink edition today of good old Red Bull. So this is forest routes. I mean, this one should be a hit. The other one, what was it? Banana, like, was it banana passion fruit or whatever? As in not passion fruit, the pulp of banana or some weed fruit I'd never seen before that began with a C. That actually surprised me with elderflower. That was pretty good. This one should just be a hit. So, always open with one hand, because you never know what the other hand's going to be needed for. Oh. that is very pleasant, actually. So this is meant to be, what is it? Yeah, just forest fruits, right? Just berries. I mean, we always knew it was going to taste good, right? I think when I was in Germany, the best Red Bull I've had is the was it Juneberry ones or whatever? I think it's called Juneberry. Yeah, the Juneberry ones. I don't know if they still do them. I think they do. I need to actually like bump my guy next time I get a package. I'm like, yo, can I actually get some Juneberries, please? Because Juneberries actually slap. They're incredible. That was my favorite. Like when I was doing Race to World First, I consumed so many of those. How much is a can of Red Bull? I think it's like, is it a pound? I can't remember what it's at a pound. Is it like $3.60 for like a 4-pack? You know, so like, so that ends up being, let's say it's roughly a pound, but it's 250 milliliters, right? Now, that's one way you could go about getting your intake. Or, alternatively, you could just go over here. You could go into the Endless Nootropics department. You could grab yourself Blue Raspberry Twister, Coca-Cola Zinger, Green Apple Kick, Sour Cherry Bomb, or Tropical Storm, which currently will work out at £1.70 a serving because these have 30 servings. But wait, I'm not done, because then you go in here, you enter my code, Killer Pigeon, at checkout, you apply the code, and then all of a sudden it comes out at £30.79. So basically, you get more liquids this way while paying, what, the same price, maybe slightly less than what you would for the Red Bull. And I think caffeine-wise, you get more caffeine out of these, because I think there's like 150 mil, whereas those, I think, are like 90 mil. So, go give it a try. We tried the Sour Cherry Bomb yesterday. I actually didn't mind it, and that's surprising for me, because I don't like cherry. I really don't. I don't get on well with cherry at all. I should have Blue Raspberry as well as Green Apple coming soon, so I'll let you guys know what I think of those. So yeah, like I mean, I tried the Nootropics from a different like company, and they're pretty cool actually. Like yeah, they're interesting. There are people that like swear by these nootropic mixes. Basically, nootropics are like nootropic means something that messes with brain chemistry, which don't freak out. It's like technically caffeine is a nootropic. It's just caffeine plus a bunch of other ingredients that are meant to make you more switched on and more like aware. I think I had a friend who said he tried them and he found it very interesting because when he done the nootropics, he felt like his aim, like he plays Apex a lot. He's like, dude, my aim was just like that. Like, I don't know how 100% true that was, but I did open a few games with him, and I can tell you he's usually an absolute potato gamer. He wasn't a complete potato gamer anymore. He was like a mid-potato gamer, right? So he went from being a potato to being a fry, you know? And that's not bad. Because, like, what do you want to eat? A raw potato or a delicious fry? Boom. You know, that type of aim I can live with. Yeah, Nootropics, I mean, Nootropics is a weird name in some ways, right? Oh, look, dude, there's the link coming now. Click that link when it comes up. Killer Pigeon. I remember, guys, the cost of delivery goes down when your sum of spend goes up. So I think if you break past $50, I think breaking past $50 is optimal because I'm not sure about the rest of Europe. The UK, if you go over £60, it's free delivery. With America, I remember I was told, so under $50 is $30 delivery, which is crazy. But then if you spend just like basically a dime over 50, it goes down to $20. And then once you go over 150, it goes down to $10. So yeah, nootropics, like it's smart drugs is what, here you go. This is what nootropics are. Can I get a good deal if I recommend them in my coaching? Maybe. Maybe we can fix someone. Only $30 delivery. Yeah, but like I said, that's if you're spending over 50, right? But it's like, I mean, the thing I'd say to people is like, when you're trying these, it's probably worth just trying at the $50 to $100 mark. Pick up a few things that intrigue you, or that I've said are good, and you are like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool, and then see if you like it. And then next time you're going for a delivery, like that's when because you know you like it, you're gonna get the stuff you like, and then you're probably gonna grab like a few more experimental things, and you could like justify going over 150, right? Because then once you're over 150 in America, you're just paying $10 delivery, that's actually pretty reasonable when you consider like how much stuff you're getting delivered. But yeah, I'm trying to think what. It sounded like they would be sending me some of the savory to try, the super meals. as well as a new group of the shakes. I keep blanking. I keep forgetting to ask for the breakfast meals, though. I'm a plonker. Oh, reminder, my code does work on top of these discounts. All right, time for the games, though. Oh, wait, that's what we're going to quickly say. Yeah, nootropics, here you go. It says smart drugs. That's literally all it means. It does, like, I mean, it technically, like, yeah, it is a drug, right? Like, but remember, caffeine is a drug. So, ta-da! I was like, caffeine's a drug? What have I been putting in my body? Okay, actually, like, saying it like that. Can we just get in game, please? Is Myths of the Mind here to scramble your mind? So, whoa, what the hell? That's a terrible beginning because of the camera. I just maybe went on the arrow key. The Brits are back. For some reason in the Middle East, though, because we've got Myths of the Mind here to warp your mind and show you that the Canadians are not unconquerable. Oh, who am I kidding? He's picked the English. This Civ right now is out of control. This player right now is out of control. You are about to witness someone who could quite easily start taking these tournaments in first place. Puppy Paw in 2024 should be running for Canadian presidency. This man is like the savior of NA right now for Age of Empires 4. On the other side, Myriad just trying to be one of the additional saviors to UK AoE 4. Now, you're about to say saviors. What do you mean, KP? Because like the UK never like wins anything in AoE 4. That's true, but one of us gets there. Usually. Yeah, it's I don't know, like I've noticed this. I feel like in general there's not many games where the UK does well in esports, right? It's a bit of a rough existence. I think NA definitely has this as well. It's just something we don't really talk about enough. And I remember someone asked me the other day why I think that was, and I genuinely think it is choice paralysis, right? Like when you come from these countries that have so many options on what you can spend your time doing and what you can do, it's no surprise that like you don't get people with the same level of commitment and conviction as like a Simple or a Dendy, for example. But this is why Puppy Paw has been able to forge himself into such a great warrior. He lives in the middle of a forest. His ability to even access the outside world is regularly attacked by trees. That type of environment and concentration is what champions are forged out of. And now, I know a lot of you are going to ask, like, what about Marine Lord? Well, yeah, what about some of these other players? Look, Marine Lord basically just got locked in a basement and trained non-stop in StarCraft. That's how that worked. He couldn't reach the handle, they'd lock the door, they bolted at the top. He was never getting out in the first place. And what is this bit? Hold up! Let me just check my calendar. We are in 2024. We are in the 6th month. This is the Abbey of Memes meta. But that is anything but. And there's a good reason for this, folks. This is really cool. In this particular matchup, it makes a lot of sense to actually go for the Council Hall instead of the King. Because the King gets countered by the Desert Raider wing. The Council Hall counters the Desert Raider wing, and depending on the spawn, can even end the game against the Ibids in the first 15 minutes. It's very important, actually, because if you go for the alternative King, not only do you find yourself counted out, but your second TC doesn't really feel like it hits as hard. You have to go a little bit more defensive because the Desert Raider will block it. On top of that, you also have the added issue that while you're trying to go 2 TC and then just be greedy, the Ibids will be even more greedy. Right, and they are so much better at being greedy in this situation because the Growth Wing essentially offsetting your TC timing as the English, and then the Relics being up for grabs while you're still an age behind. So yeah, this is pretty smart. So we're probably not seeing any multi-TC play whatsoever. Some Stone Gathering is happening on the front side. Myriad, you may notice, has sent 5 out. This is simply to get the emplacement for the outpost coming up. He needs double emplacement, though. One emplacement doesn't work here. In fact, I'm not the biggest fan of this outpost placement. I think maybe you could have actually justified sticking it here. Yes, if there's enough Lombos, they'll dive past and shoot you anyway. But in the opening phase, this will be good enough to protect your gold workers right here. because there's nowhere else that Lombo's can attack, right? They can't come stand here and attack you. They'd be in TC range. So if you put one outpost here, it blocks the whole area. I think Myriad is just thinking way too much about, 12 Lombos diving in. But that takes quite a while to reach. So Aristat's coming in. Only one, though. Still feels like a mistake. So Desert Raider out and on the way, but Lombos are already being queued up and sent out to the mid-map. And while Puppy Paw is about to be attacked by Bose, the English person attacking me is much shorter and at my desk. Hello, Freya. Yep, no, I'm putting the lid on that. She's literally pointing to the protein works right now. I'm sorry, Freya, you can't have that. That's too delicious, I'm not sharing. Lombos. I'll chase about the Desert Raider. And behind this, I mean, it's still only one outpost. And Puppy Paw's fully aware of this, right? So if he comes around the back now, he can easily just start harassing onto the gold line a bit. So I'm wondering, like, what is the thought process here at Myriad? Because there's no way he expects this one outpost to stop the Lombos. Maybe he just feels he can get enough gold that he doesn't have to care. What is up, Farm Man? Thank you very much for the raid, my friend. Hopefully, I had a good stream. It could be that he's... Yeah, there we go. Okay, he's coming with the outpost on a very big delay. However, this should be quick enough. Okay, my favorite part about all this is how Puppy Paw just left a campfire. Just, by the way, you need to build another outpost. 25 watch streak? Good lord. You need to get life. Wait, no, don't. This is better now. I like that Myriad done this. I think his logic was he wanted to see that Puppy Paw was serious about committing to the Feudal Age before he invested in double outpost. Lombos are going to start reaching in, though, and ooh. Myriad is lucky that Puppy Paw did not have the 5th Longbow there. Otherwise, that would have been a dead villager. This is where the Lombos start to get scary. When you have 5 of them, it's very easy to just kind of dip in, snipe one without your opponent noticing, get out. And the other problem is, like, you had to go back for more stone, right? Like, luckily he did that quick enough. I'm a bit surprised that Puppy Paw wasn't there to camp it. Because I feel like the double stone grab shouldn't have really been feasible here. Here you go. This is why the double arrow slits defense is so good, right? Like, there's no easy way to now get in. If Myriad just sits his villagers along here, you're going to lose Lombos from the dive. I've got Rams now on the way, so it looks like he's still trying to break in. I mean, he did achieve some idle time. There isn't really that much golden reserve right now for the Ibids. Realistically, the Ibids should be going for a Gulen build here anyway. Just because if you go Camel Lancers, like at some point, Puppy Paw should be adding in a Rax. So, I guess you still get value out of this play in that you are going to force the Golems, but you still don't have a direct answer to that if you're Puppy Paw here. Moment of truth. Tech up's begun. It's going to be Growth Wing. Now, what you want to do here is you want to utilize the backspace in your base that Rocky River gives you. Here. You do not want to give free info away to the English. Luckily, this outpost did take out that campfire. Otherwise, I think a scout might be able to see deep enough to spot buildings here. Yeah, quite often what I see a lot of Ibid players do instead is they tend to build the production buildings here. I just think that's a really big mistake. If you do have the room to hide your intent, do it. There are some matchups where it makes sense to reveal a piece of info. Like if you reveal you're going to go Camel Lancers, you bait Spearmen, and then you go Golems, right? But most of the time, in these type of situations, you just want to commit to one unit type. Desert Raider dive. Didn't achieve too much. Meanwhile, on the other side of this, it's Clown Car in time! So, Filthy Puppy Paw is joining in on this as well. He needs to start attacking, though. Lombos are beginning to snipe. This isn't optimal the way that Puppy Paw has done this. However, he still will be able to get through the outpost quick enough. Myriad having a hard time here. The Ram just moves on. The Lombo's a little bit delayed to pull out there. Should be able to snipe a few down here, though. More should fall soon. Villagers are going to be pulled out. Puppy Paw, it's funny, actually. If he just attacked there, he would have killed 2 more villagers. So it's going to be a reset and a pull away. Myriad did get 300 gold surplus, but it came at a high price. Pretty much at this stage, the Growth Wing is offsetting the damage that's been done to him. Puppy Paw, still more Lombos on the way. Yeah, if only there was a... Wait. Sorry, did you say that the Myriad's down by 5 villages? No, 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 no. Some other things happened here. I think Myriad has been missing production at different stages on the TC. Yep, he's only 1 villager ahead now. More Lombos on the way, so it looks like Puppy Boy isn't going to slow down with this, but it's intriguing, right? At this stage, you need to get Spimmin in fast. This is where I would have said you do 1 stables into double racks behind, because then Puppy Boy's just dead, right? Like, you have got 15 sheep here. He also has still got some surplus berries left over that got boomed up, right? So, like, it's very logical in this position to just kind of assume your opponent is going to play spears. There's no way an English player goes for a fast castle now, because 1, it won't be fast, and 2, the payoff is going to be you get all the relics. But you just keep moving away, though. The upside here is Puppy Paw, he could have got Steeled Arrow, and he'd have a lot of damage output on the Camel Lancers, but mistakes made there. He actually didn't prioritize that. Yeah, a little bit surprised by that. He definitely has the resources in reserve to go for Steeled Arrow play here. Even now, it still maintains value, considering that a fast castle IBID build like this doesn't think about blacksmiths quick enough. Camel Lancers are at least starting to break out. Another reason why Steeled Arrow is good, right, is like to offset the dive potential that the IBIDs are going for, because we did just see a blacksmith being dropped at the back. How long is the season of AoE for? It's 3 months, right? Am I remembering that correctly? I think we had 1 small patch between as well, right? I was just thinking, we've kind of had 3 months of this IBID build. That's wild. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, this is technically the shortest season we've had. Yeah, it still feels obnoxiously long. Then again, this IBID build didn't really get changed in the big patch, right? It was the same in the last season, more or less. It's been more optimized, but it's still been the same one-dimensional thing. I do sometimes wish the devs would make more drastic leaps with their changes. I think we talked about this before, that no one actually wants perfection. Everyone moans like they want to have the perfect patch where everything's balanced, but they actually don't. People just want change. Camel Lancers come around the back, but they're not going to be able to get in there. So Undermesh now on the way. Puppy Paw has a sizable army. The big issue I'm seeing right now is, yeah, no switch up. Finally, it's on the way. I think this could have happened a bit sooner for Myriad. I just don't think it was worth having the double stables here versus the Golem Pump. He should have enough food to get away with this, though. He's still sitting on 11 sheep underneath the TC. At this stage, with Puppy Paw seeing this info, this is where you're either now going to have to add in Men-at-Arms, which I don't like, or you try to go towards Castle Age. Now, the good news actually about your opponent doing this, by the way, is you may notice that Myriad has yet to drop a mosque. That's a really good sign for Puppy Paw. It means that he isn't necessarily going to be a situation where it's just a 5-relic game for the IBIDs. It's important that he's able to at least contest 2 of these relics to feel good about the game. Camel Lancers are at least being annoying in the meantime. No wheelbarrow. At this stage, I think Puppy Paw might get value out of that. Like, you're getting deep into the tree line. You're going to be setting up a lot more farms in the next 2 minutes. Looks like we have got a heavy shift. So this is the indication that Puppy Paw is going for a tech up now. Like, whenever you see 10 villages on the gold, there's got to be a reason he needs that much gold so quickly. An interesting play onto the deer as well. I actually love the fact that Puppy Paw is taking this risk, despite the fact that he's up against Camel Lancers. You're scaling Spearmen, right? You have an air of confidence about you at the beginning of the age up, considering your opponent doesn't really have much of a force to contest. It looks like, although they may have scouted out that there's villages out here, the problem now with this Golem comp is it can't easily go on the flanks and still hit that timing to block the enemy tech up. So you kind of have to choose your poison. Puppy Paw. Lombos are going to get wiped out here. I mean, you could technically split into 3 different groups to minimize the losses. Over time, remember, Golems will kill this off because they have a naturally higher movement speed than Lombos. Behind this, all production has indeed now been halted. Puppy Paw, does he try to contest this at all? It's so difficult. Remember, these Golems have more health than standard Men-at-Arms, and with the 2 ranged armor plus, you do 1 damage per strike, right? So it's kind of silly, actually. At this stage, it would take you at least 9 volleys to kill 1 unit. with this many Lombos. And in that time, you probably lose 5, 6 Lombos trying to attack. Right? Because every time you turn around, Golems will gap close. In fact, his timing to back off was well chosen here. Sultan's Mamluks is now on the way. That would have been a huge snowball if he'd even tried to engage. Because remember, with the Mamluk's bravery, like in these situations, you trigger so often, and the extra movement speed guarantees you'll always chase down. Attack speed on his side, though, so Puppy now turns for the fight. Not a bad choice here. The Spearmen are being thrown away because he sees there's no more Camel Lancers coming. Yeah, it's actually just crazy how big of a difference that attack speed makes. What looked like a poor engagement before worked out quite nicely to buffer his opponent away. And it should keep Myriad on the retreat at a critical point because those numbers are starting to swell. We're now up to 15 Golems in total. Well, you say King's Pass, but I'm starting to wonder, does Puppy Paw actually need to go for the White Tower? I think you can get away with King's Pass here, courtesy of the Council Hall, because Council Hall will give you the veterancy in 30 seconds, and veterancy should be enough to push this away. We're just getting hit up, though. Puppy Paw still not teched up yet. More troops are on the way as well, and we've got the Bloomery coming through. This is sick. Remember, Bloomery, the highest value unit in the game for it. No other unit gets more value out of the Bloomery tech than a Golem. Facts. Because they have the double strike. Retreating to the choke point here. It looks like the TC fire should be enough to kind of repel this first wave, but the issue I'm seeing is the idle time. Puppy Paw doesn't really have a tech up in the next minute. Right, he's having to invest in more Lombos because he has to reach critical mass now. Oof. Dude, this is uncomfortable. And if you're wondering, like, why is Puppy Paw not just GG'd out? Like, he's not actually dead yet. Right? Like, there is a world in which he gets enough Lombos to keep this away. You have to remember that Myriad is running out of food, and on top of that, Myriad is being greedy. I don't like this detail of a second TC. You're sacrificing your potential breakpoint here. Now, King's Pass. It's on the way. Finally, Puppy Paw gets the resources he needs. More Golems are on the way in, though. So he needs to mop up these deep divers fast. Last two about to go down. Lombos need to move in to protect this. I think the King's Pass may have been poorly positioned here by Puppy Paw. Maybe he should have looked for a gate and a sneak out on the right side here, because I don't think that would have been noticed. Well, the problem with building one Mango here is if you build one Mango, you haven't got enough Golems to dive, and that slowdown gives a tech up, right? So I agree that a Mango would break this, but the problem is going a Mango slows your timing completely. Right? Because if you think about it, to build that Mango, you'd be missing X Golems. Speaking of which, Last of the Golems is going to be pushed back. So Flood looked like it done some decent damage. And you might think, okay, did Myriad just throw the game? Not necessarily. Like, he did get that second TC, which we weren't the biggest fan of. I'll stand by that. But also we have Relics now on the way. Right? And that's something that Puppy Paw should struggle to contest now. Because he hasn't got a comp to rush out the base, right? He hasn't got the White Tower to produce Knights. He hasn't got a massive Spearman to go defend the Relics with. And if he runs out of Longbows blind and runs into Lancers, it's just going to cost you the whole army. So we're probably looking at a 4, if not 5 Relic game. Considering the ones that got taken already, it's a safe bet that Myriad is going to get every single Relic in this game. Imaginique's now coming in. Yeah, way too aggressively located, though. I think Myriad kind of misread the state of the game, and I don't blame him for it. Whenever you play against English, you just kind of don't feel like you want to all in, right? Like, the attack speed aura makes it so difficult. So Myriad's mindset here was, instead of trying to, like, end the game now, I'm going to look for a bit of padding, because I think this game's going to take longer than 5 minutes. That's usually how you make that choice, right? After you've gathered relics, you look at the state of the game, you say, can I finish in 5 minutes? And if the answer is yes, then you all in. If the answer is no, you go for a second TC. Puppy Paw. Remember, this is without veterancy on the Lombos. That's now coming. Mango's being built. I mean, that is one issue with the English with this build. It's actually why they struggled for a long time with Castle Age. Is with this particular build, it's very difficult to get into Siege naturally. You're spending all this wood on Lombos. You don't have a Siege Workshop by default. Mango already getting a nice wallop in there. Starting to get layered in, though. Needs to be very careful on the retreat here. I actually think one really nice thing about longbow plus crossbow, by the way, is that unlike archer crossbow, you don't expose your good unit. because crossbows and longbows move at the same speed, the crossbows don't get sent to the back here and killed first. That's a very interesting difference with English over any other civ in the game. So Mango's done a good job of pinning him back in the base. Puppy's going to have to go for a soft reset. Myriad needs to not get bait like this, though. This is really bad. If you move ahead of the Mango like this, you're giving free fights. Yeah, actually, this is expensive. I mean, this is not the dive of earlier, remember. I think Myriad's kind of misreading the state of the game. This is crossbows now. This is longbows. Damage actually exists in this composition. You need to respect it. Villagers now being pulled. Whoa, 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 whoa. Puppy paw. Hold up. Hold up. No, no. Please walk away. Puppy paw? Puppy paw? Oh my god, put a lid on it. He's like, dude, I mean, I can't blow the torch out. Might as well use it. Oh, and he gets it with the final hurl. Still an insanely expensive fight, right? Several villagers going down, and now a 20 eco lead for Myriad. Oh, Paw's in trouble. Armorclad is at least on the way, so we have got a transition to men-at-arms. Much needed here. Archers come on the other side. It means that the men-at-arms transition is going to favor Puppy Paw. Time being, though, Canadian lacking a front line to really protect against this. As Mamluk's bravery is really our stinger. Luckily for Puppy Paw here, the double TC fire is going to be enough to reset this again. One little bit of a whoopsie here, I think, actually, out of Myriad. He could be locking in all 3 sacred sites. Like, you could send 3 or 4 golems over here to torch the outpost and take the sacred site. He's got 2 of them, so he's getting the gold trickle. But I like the idea of just capturing the sacred site to force the pressure for Puppy Paw to come out. Because right now, like, yes, he is coming out, but there's no necessity, right? If you think about it, he has everything he needs on this right side corner. He's got double gold vein outside his base, actually triple. He's got extra food over here. Finally, we are seeing the Camel Lancers roaming in, but this needs to be the target point for Myriad. Because right now, this area is what keeps Puppy Paw in the game. Dude, what a crazy game. We don't see games like this out of the English anymore. I mean, well, we see ones where they can, but what we don't see are ones where they go Council Hall, King's Palace. The ones we have seen, they typically lose. But I think this is a specific matchup thing. Like, you won't see King's Palace, Council Hall in many matchups, but it is the correct call in an Iabid matchup. Especially if you're playing on closer maps, things like Coastal Cliffs? Coastal Cliffs not as much, but definitely on Cliffside. I think Council Hall is definitely a good place to start against Iabids, but I actually don't think it's the only way. The requirement is that you play longbows. I genuinely think the King with double archery range can work as well. The logic there being is you actually have the heal. The reason that can be better is it makes it easier to dive fluidly with longbows because you can back them off and heal. So it's more micro-intensive, but like, let's say you've got 10 longbows, you start diving them in, one gets target, you pull him back, he waits while the King heals him over time, and the others go in again. That build in particular is underrated. Flash starting to come in. These armor-clad men-at-arms, hard to get through though. Mango's still a problem. Like, this is classic English, right? How do I get into Siege? You build a Siege workshop. It's really not that hard. It is though. It is really difficult when you're trying to scale farms, even with the discount, to then go 300 wood deep and then go 250 more wood and whatever else, right? Much easier just to build 1,000,000 men-at-arms and send them in full divide. You should be able to get this as well. Like, don't see these guys dying quick enough. Remember, the armor clad makes them ridiculously tanky. Like, can we just appreciate how absurd these units are in these situations? An army that big couldn't kill 5 of them quick enough. Oh, man. I actually think Puppy Paw is starting to win these games. Win these fights, rather. I mean, the men-at-arms are dying, right? But they're ticking the boxes. They got rid of the siege. They're delaying the blob long enough that the crossbow longbows are actually now winning the fight, even without the outpost. And yeah, not only that, but Puppy Paw is also simultaneously winning these fights and trending towards Imperial. New Manjanique coming up, but I wonder if it is a little bit too late here. In fact, he might get caught building it up. Puppy Paw starts to poke. Remember, this isn't everything for Puppy Paw. It is, however, for Myriad. So how does Myriad now win this? Because this is going to go Imperial. What could end up happening, at least, is he could force the Berkshire, but I actually think, like, Berkshire isn't bad in this matchup. KP said Berkshire's not... No, hear me out. Iobid's Imp isn't that strong, so having to go Berkshire doesn't hurt you. Right? Like, there's a lot of matchups where having to go Berkshire is a really bad thing. It's still better if you can go Wingard here, but I don't feel like this favors Iobid's if Puppy Paw is forced into a Baki. Instead, it looks like he's going to reinvest. So that's really cool. By reinvesting here, Puppy Paw can guarantee Wingard down the line. And the Villager Pool. Oh, Myriad, he was trying to go for a keep drop. Okay, this is catastrophic right now. A lot of Myriad's raw eco lead is just on the front line doing nothing. Also, remember, despite the fact we're talking Golden Age, we're talking 5 relics, one, that Golden Age is worse, two, it's English farms at this stage, right? And a lot of them, we're 30 deep, each of them having a 25% increased gathering rate, right? That actually adds quite a lot of pump behind the English at this stage. Now, I love the way that Myriad's playing the map, by the way. This is a big lesson people should take away when you play Ibids and have map control. You play pocket resources. You do not go farm transition. He's doing it now, but that's because he's starting to lose map control, and a lot of the deposits which are accessible easily have dried up. These ones, they're too close to the front line. Jesus, Faye. He's already dead in game. Can you not kill him in real life? I think Myriad's just trying to find a way out, right? Like, he knows he has to keep attacking, because if he doesn't, English will just go Imperial Age, and then he loses anyway. We've got a keep drop over here. The problem with this, folks, is there's still plenty of wood on the right side. I actually just think Myriad has misread his win condition for the last several minutes. He was way too fixated on the dive. I think this is a classic example of, oh, it worked the first time. Does it again and again and again and loses, right? Like, that first dive was great. Every dive afterwards kind of felt unnecessary, and every attempted dive felt unnecessary. What he needed to do was wrap the right side, which would have blocked out the gold, right? Like, if you look at the spawn, Puppy Paw only has one gold option on the left. Everything else is on the right. Extra wood is on the right. The deer he was actually gathering from, on the right. Sacred Site win condition, on the right. If Myriad wanted to be on the right side of this game, he needed to be on the right side of the map. So a few Camel Lancers did at least break in. So might be able to find some chip damage, but I mean, at this stage, I think it's pretty obvious where this is going. Towards Imperial Age. The Horsemen are being prepped, but with Armor-clad Men-at-Arms, you just kind of... You struggle, man. Like, you have to go around all the time, right? Getting clubbed as you go. Like, my worry is we're kind of reaching a stage where Puppy Paw can just do that classic Men-at-Arms spam, and it beats everything. Now, the keep drop did at least force a vacation in the line. Looks like the Horsemen are going to reveal themselves. A perfect point. Wait, Puppy Paw? Oh my god, he didn't send the Men-at-Arms. They're still at home. Okay, so remember that part where I said Puppy Paw is it trending towards an all Men-at-Arms build? Yeah, we're there. But don't worry, folks. This is a lot of protein in your diet. Yeah, you got that reference. Click the link. Because these are the beefy boys, right? And there it is. Berkshire was forced. Now, you want to cringe at the Berkshire, but actually in this game, as I highlight, it's kind of a necessity. Especially after you lose that military blob like you did. Because you see Horseman mass, right? You see Golems. If those break through the walls, it's not that your Men-at-Arms can't win in a fight. It's that your Men-at-Arms will be ignored. Positioning is a little bit weird, though. It does protect his primary, but it doesn't protect the gold. Also, he spread farms out on the east side. I actually think this Berkshire has been misplaced. Here makes a lot more sense, right? It protects both sides. Now, Berkshire in a completely wrong location. We might have a problem here for Puppy Paw. Walls are being broke. Tech up complete, but he needs the Men-at-Arms elite upgrade now. Hasn't been queued yet. And it'll take a minute anyway. Myriad needs to get in fast. In fact, this would be a perfect time to have pulled the villagers north. But now with the Berkshire in position, you can't just rush up here, right? In fact, Myriad making a mistake. He's actually playing towards the Berkshire location. There's only network of castles, no citadels. Elite upgrade is on the way for the men-at-arms, though. I don't think this works. I think Myriad, he went for the military. I don't know why. You have a 21 eco lead. You could have made this a 40 eco lead easily. Instead, you're giving the military lead over. Front army has been cleared up. Myriad now going to be pushed past the threshold again. And I think he should just kiss a farewell here because this is the last time he's going to know what an English base looks like. Oh, wow. So let's break down the issues there. Myriad, he breaks through the most pathetic defense. He discovers his opponent has built Berkshire down here when he starts fighting. The moment you see that detail, your horsemen need to peel north. You need to go in. Obviously, we have God Vision. We can see everything over here. Myriad can't, but he has to assume that gold is being gathered in that area at least. So there will be value out of horsemen and Gulam going that way. Instead, he locks himself down in a static fight, not just underneath the Berkshire, but also in the aura that is giving the attack speed advantage. I can't forgive that, man. It's a cardinal sin. Now, punishment for that sin starting to come in. Looks like men-at-arms are starting to find flank resources. And the breakout is commencing. These are elite men-at-arms now, folks. Very tanky. Wouldn't be surprised if University Tech comes in a rush. And I assume that is a misclick because to assume anything else hurts me. I don't know why he's putting a spring. Oh, wait. No, I get it. Big crossbow better than small crossbow. Yeah, this is looking close to done. Unless Myriad has a tech on the way, but he doesn't. Now, if he gets a bit of breathing room, Advancing Wing does come in very fast, remember? It's very, very cheap. 2,250 resources for Imperial Age. But he's not popped yet. And until you're popped, you can't really justify it. Most way of men-at-arms did at least get mopped up. The crossbow upgrades are coming in soon. A little bit surprised that Puppy Ball's standing still like this, but I think he's just tossing them away. But this is just going to be what? Men-at-arms crossbows constantly spammed. And remember, we've got enclosures in now, so this is a very sustainable comp. Imp Gamble Wing? No, why? Like, why? Myriad won't do that, Faye, because Myriad likes winning games. Now, you might be wondering if he likes winning games, why did he let this go past 20 minutes? But, we're not going to focus on that detail. Nope. Nice man, go hit. Yeah, looking back at this game, like, where's the biggest cardinal sin? I think it really is in the Congo line of death, right? Like, it made sense before your opponent had a castle, but the moment he did, you need to fully reset and come again. I think that second TC as well was unnecessary. Myriad had an opportunity to end the game. Instead, he chose to extend it. Why anyone would ever, in the history of ever, want to extend a game against the English is your best bet. Iobid's is definitely lowest on the list of civs that want to do that, though. Like, this matchup doesn't become Iobid favored in him, ever. Right? You know, even when you think hand cannoneers, Gulams, I mean, men-at-arms with armor-clad are insane. And then when you back them up with either your own hand cannoneers or even just lombos, it's a super effective way of dealing with everything. So you're saying Puppy Paw has been playing out of his mind, like a myth. Yeah, but Myriad having 0 walls isn't the problem here, guys. Like, if you're looking at this game right now and your takeaway is Myriad has no walls. Yeah, dude, that's like playing as the French against the Chinese, flooding them, attacking them for 30 minutes, and then losing a fight, and then they're all of a sudden spamming Palace Guard at you, and you go, France has no walls. What the hell, man? It's like, yeah, because their goal wasn't to have walls. If they ever had to build walls, they already lost the game. Puppy Ball doesn't have melee blacksmiths, probably because he just forgot about it. Yeah, I think he just overlooked it. He doesn't have Military Academy either. I think he's just a bit distracted. He's too busy winning his games. Ooh. Yeah, I went there. I don't know where I went. In fact, no elite army tactics either is maybe the biggest surprise, but with him just adding in hand cannoneers, there you go, it's on the way. So the whole goal of these men-at-arms now isn't even to do damage, it's just to tank. The hand cannoneers will win in the game. Mango Warp's coming in. Culverins are now here, but feels like it's too little too late. Keep drop is coming in. That's one way to guarantee you can have the attack speed aura. Looks like we have got a raid with Horsemen, though. Okay, so not a bad strike here on the back line. That explains actually why Myriad's defense is looking so pathetic. However, there might be a bite back because of that. Keep drop now coming in. Nothing here to easily counter it. It looks like Myriad is actually making his own villager move out into the mid-map. Probably just for the berries, right? I think he just needs to get more food income here. I mean, you could just set up farms at this stage, though. Osman's still raiding. Puppypaw isn't reacting to this. He sent a small group of men-at-arms for the first group, but nothing for the secondary. Finally, it looks like villagers are going to pull away, but not before some damage is done. I just don't feel like it's going to be enough, though, right? Like, even with almost a 40 eco lead, his position is very uncomfortable in this game. That key drop. Even able to kill off some of the Culverins. Bombard is going to be sniped on the other side. So, damage done initially, but what is your play now? Because you're at the beginnings of Imperial Age here as the Ibids. You don't have many strengths, right? You've got elite tech on crossbows and you've got incendiary arrows. But what you don't have as a result of that is a good front line against men-at-arms. It's getting worse still. Chem now on the way from Puppypaw. So Unitechs really are the difference maker. You know, like I call that the true imp plus. Puppypaw's been here long enough that he should end up in a situation where he'll have both of his primary imp techs when Myriad only has the one. Did someone say more men-at-arms? They're hunting in. Oh no. Well, it might not be as quick as the Horsemen of Myriad, but these guys take a lot longer to kill. Oh, wow, he's actually... The game awareness of Puppypaw here, he knows this trade coming. But he's going to find a double whammy. Look at the villagers over here, 36 of them. Now, Myriad was smart enough to get textiles. He prepped it before this assault came in. So it should at least minimize the losses somewhat there. But folks, this is wave one, right? Like Puppypaw's eco is most definitely dented, but I feel like a lot of the damage has already been offset. Keep on the front side did at least get pushed back. Myriad, I mean, if he can keep raiding with Horsemen, I could see this working. He needs to raid long enough that he gets all his upgrades in. And then, even then, he needs an eco lead, right? Because the English economy is just better than the Ibid one at this stage of the game. Now, what I like about what Myriad is doing here are the marketplaces. The marketplaces are really smart because actually, do you want to know what the best comp is for the Ibid's late game? It's not going to surprise you. It's hand cannoneers and men-at-arms. The reason it's so good for the Ibids actually is better than what it is for the Abbasids. The reason why it's so good, and even better in fact, is the Mamluk's Bravery. Because Mamluk's Bravery really benefits units that have higher base damage. Obviously, Ghulams and hand cannoneers are going to be kings there, right? Because they have the highest damages you can get your hands on. Please stop the mass tower assaults. You're going to give people the wrong idea. I've already got people in my YouTube comments being like, I think Tower of Sultans are actually pretty OP. Okay, in fairness to that person, I do think Tower of Sultans situationally might be like overtuned. We just haven't noticed yet. I think there is maybe a build around pulling like 2 villages and garrisoning them aside so that you can basically dive the enemy base and repair on the go, right? Like, you know, do you want to know how you actually make Tower of Sultan OP? You give a Janissary-like effect so that Desert Raiders can repair Siege at a lower rate. And that will instantly make Tower of the Sultan broken. Oh, these men-at-arms numbers. You know, it's kind of funny, right? Like, the way that Puppy Paw is playing this is giving Myriad some hope. If Puppy Paw just stonewalls this piece, and then this piece, I don't think there's any raid options for Myriad in this game. Instead, he just gets allowed to keep going in areas like this. So we've got a Horseman switch upcoming. So Horseman and Men-at-Arms. Interesting choice. I guess this gives him a way of reacting. Like, I still think Stonewalls is a much easier solution to this problem, but Horseman allows you to mirror, and it also gives you a counter to the mass crossbows coming. Surely they agreed no Stonewalls. Wrong. Myriad's playing as the Ibids. There's nothing honorable about this. Oh, wait, I think Puppy Paw noticed he was missing the melee text. That's finally on the way. That's a pretty decent DPS increase. Remember, it scales with Elite Army Tactics, so it ends up being worth more than 1. So, what, 1.2 per level now? So you almost get an extra Blacksmith level by having Elite Army Tactics. 5? I mean, actually, like, yeah. And then obviously the base scales. It kind of snowballs out of control. Some units really do make Blacksmith text with EAT look broken. I think the most durable one to me is still Shadow Monks this day. Puffballs everywhere. Well, Myriad, mate, you shouldn't have stopped at that one tiny wall, because this is going to be a problem now. It's not quite as quick as Palace Guard, but somehow it's even more annoying. Oh my god, just everywhere. You know, I really don't know how I feel to this day about how often late game ends up being Men-at-Arms spam from a lot of civs. In some ways, it does seem kind of goofy, right? I think it's the most lemmings that AoE 4 can look. You know, Horsemen at least quick to do what they do or quick to get countered, right? But like Men-at-Arms, the way they just goof around, I do 100% get Lemmings vibes. Oh my god, 55 Horsemen? Gotta ride out and slay some Titans here. The upgrade is on the way for them. Myriad took a pretty heavy beating from that raid, and he's taking even more hits now. Villagers on the backside gonna get found. Trade is also now being blocked, so he needs to find time to send some people down here. Otherwise, the limited trade that he's got online is just going to evaporate. Get rid of infinite food and gold? What a controversial idea. It couldn't also be that there's way too much wood on the map, right? Puppy Paw built a grand total of 8 stables. He's queued up 67 horsemen in 8 stables. He did at least finally get Military Academy, so that makes it a bit better. I feel like this one is now a foregone conclusion. Unless Myriad somehow gets into Adabegs, I just don't see a comeback. Like, actually, funnily enough, if Myriad was to wall now and get Adabegs, he could start winning fights. But, you know, it's a big could. That's a big wall. And while he's got parts of it, he's still missing the critical areas. You know, the ones where Men-at-Arms are coming from. The ones where Horsemen are now coming from. Pretty cool to just see a different build from the English, though, for a change. Council Hall still does have its place, despite what people may think. Abbey of Kings definitely feels very dominant, but this is proof that in some matchups, you know, it's kind of a necessity. Sure, that initial assault failed, but, I mean, did it really? I feel like it done a lot of damage. It delayed the Ibids long enough to get Puppy Paw to a stage where he could be in this game. And it came with the potential to end the game in 10 minutes instead of 40. Now, in this case, it's going to be 40. But this is exactly what I meant about Ibids in their current state, right? It's like, this is a Civ that is way too one-dimensional. The military wing into eco wing build is just the bread and butter of this Civ, and it looks by far the best. But part of that isn't just it looking too good, it's everything else as a choice looking too bad. Something with the Ivids fundamentally has to change. Otherwise, even after you nerf Growth Wing, Melee Wing, and you buff a different wing, you're going to have the same issue if there's only one build you really ever do. Now, I know someone's going to make a comment about that's how a lot of civs end up functioning at KP. Like, the English in 9 out get 10 games. But there's a difference between optimal and no options. And I think Ivids really feel like they have no other options right now. Need the wing makeover. Yeah, they need. I think they just need maybe some sort of tax, right? Like, here's the thing: the whole idea is that the difference between Ivids and Ambassadors is meant to be Ivids get immediate value out of their tech ups, but that's not always true, is it? Trade wing isn't an immediate value. You have to pay for it as well. And also, like, if that's the concept that we're going for, why do the Ambassadors get immediate value? Because they get traders, they get military units. Like, they are getting immediate value. Who's thinking of the other camel boys? No one, because we're all just too busy looking at the English. Oh. Pretty cool game. What do we call that one? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, everyone's crying for Ivids to get nerfed, but like, I don't think people are using any foresight there. The moment they get nerfed, like, the Civ literally just won't be playable at all. It'll be the worst Civ in the game straight away. And that fundamentally is not good design. You want a Civ to be viable still, even after a nerf. Open your mind. Wait, are you singing that song? The Guano Apes one? I don't know. I don't know, man. Cracky doesn't seem like the kind of guy that listens to Guano Apes. But that's all I'm hearing when I just read Open Your Mind. Oh, okay, you've gone for Rick and Morty. I still haven't watched Rick and Morty. Well, I've watched clips, but I still haven't watched it properly. Which one is... Rick's the old man, right? He's like, Morty! Morty! Or is that the other way around? I always forget. I keep meaning to get around to watching it, but it's one of those things now where there's just so many episodes, I'm like, will I ever now get around to watching it? What do we call that one? Ivids force a diff English, maybe. Alright, there we go. Alright, so let's see what else we've got here. First couple seasons were great, but it's ran its course. Okay. I was saying, like, what was the one I keep recommending to people? The Human Resources, or I think it was Badmouth before that. I love that one. That one was really entertaining. It's so dumb, but so good. Basically, the whole idea is that the TV... It's a cartoon that focuses around a bunch of kids who discover, like, their hormone demons and things like that only they can see. They have, like, inner, like, dialogues with them. Okay, so let me quickly check the live ladder and see who we've maybe got here. Because we might have some familiar faces playing right at this second. I'm starting to wonder how I feel about this Sonic song. It's like a very weird kind of beat, but it kind of hits. Malcolm in the Middle? Yes, dude, I need to go back to Malcolm in the Middle at some point. An absolute banger. I watched American Made the other night. That's a pretty fun movie. I like that. If you guys haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. It's sort of it's based on a real story, but they changed a lot of details. But it follows like the real life story of a guy who basically gathered intel for the CIA in like I think it's the 70s and 80s, maybe it's earlier 60s, whatever. And then he eventually became like a drug smuggler in the height of like Reagan's administration, while still being an informant and working for the CIA. Okay. Not seeing any familiar faces online there. Quickly let me open up AoE4 World, because we've definitely got options. Look at the CIA. Pfft. I don't have a job, silly. That's why I'm here so many hours a week begging people for subs. Because I got to get Red Bull money somehow. Stuff ain't cheap, as we just highlighted. Wait, oh, what's that? Do I see some people in chat about subscriptions next to them? Gotta fix that. You guys do remember that those subs mean you don't have to worry about ads at all, right? Just think it's important to remind you guys of that. Oh, that's what we want to do. We want to do Beasty versus Cracky, didn't we? They had 2 games. I guess we'll spoil ourselves with both. Alright, 1 second. Bring it across to me for a sec, so you don't have results spoiled for you. So I think the first game was it Gorge? Yeah. Ottomans versus Juji. You sure Cracky wants to watch those? Oh boy. Of course he does. He's playing Juji. That's so much fun for him. That'd be silly. Boop. All right, let's get ready to go. Not one, but a double dosage of Juji coming your way, fresh from the Crackety pipe, because we have got a fun one here. Crackety is spamming Juji right now, just trying to show you all the complexities you just can't even begin to imagine that make this Civ good. But he's got a challenge in his way. Beasty Cutie on the... Oh, wait, okay guys, it's Ottomans. This is absolutely fine. This is a battle of the trash can. Oh, that's absolutely perfect. Beasty Cutie on the Ottomans. Meanwhile, we have got Crackety on his Juji. Now, this is an interesting matchup, actually, because I wonder, can you just beat Juji with Sipahi? Because if Juji tried to play full feudal, you go Chuganu, you go Sipahi, right? Because Sipahi with meta, they get the extra ranged armor, they already have good ranged armor, and they actually have an attack range that makes them not a clown unit like Horsemen. That's an interesting 4. We'll have to see if that's the way he wants to play this, because admittedly that would mean playing into the weakest age of the Ottomans right now. It's no lie that ever since the nerfs, Ottomans usually look like they're looking for Castle and Imperial Age in every game. Honestly, this Civ was nerfed the wrong way. Right, they actually made a critical blunder the way they approached the Ottomans. Ottomans should have had the Imperial Age nerfed. The feudal was fine. The feudal was interesting. The biggest problem is civs that are still revolving around this idea of rushing Imperial Age and looking strong. By the way, like, there was a discussion earlier about this whole idea that we should remove permanent, like, infinite food and infinite wood. Here's the problem. With the way AoE4 has designed itself, they've designed themselves into a corner here because of civs like this. If you start saying that we no longer have infinite food, how do you contest Ottoman's late game? You like, at that point, There is no comeback option 50 minutes plus. You just call GG. And yeah, actually, you're not totally memeing here. Double deer stack like that could be a shove-in. Medigarden is a little bit reserved. I'm underwhelmed. Especially considering that would have been an option. Oh, he scouted the wrong side. Could he have justified walking out here, though? These Medi-Gardens in the mid-map have kind of fallen off since now you can actually destroy the Meditation Gardens without any repercussions. If you guys recall, there was a bug where when you deleted the Meditation Garden, when you destroyed it, if it got rebuilt, the resources in it doubled based on the units around it. So that is why people allowed these Medi-Gardens got placed out in places like this. Now with the changes, if you were to place a Meditation Garden here, Beasty would probably justify building a ram just to delete it, because this would be insane. It would be, what, 25 stone, 25 gold. You'd end up getting the 48 food, and then you'd be looking at probably about 20 wood or so. So Minaret Madras on the way. This is ticking the first box we needed for the whole idea of going Sipahi. We have seen a rise in popularity of the trade option here for the Ottomans. I just don't think this is that type of game, right? Like, this is not an eco-boomy game, and although Gorge can sometimes turn into that, the reality is Gorge is also a very aggro-focused map if someone wants to go all in. And if that's the case, you're never going to be in a situation where you can go 2DC, fast castle into Imp. Tech up complete. Wait, why did... That's kind of rough. Yeah, Cracky got a pretty bad spawn for this Meditation Garden play. Because now, what, is he going to go multi-TC? Okay, this is going to reek of sadness. I can already feel it. He didn't even have the option to really go for a Chuginu all-in. I mentioned it wouldn't be that great anyway, but it wasn't even on the table when you consider the berry location, right? Like, you could Medi-Garden here, but it would be a depressing Meditation Garden. The ideal one would have been berries here next to the gold, and then you Medi-Garden for the free resources. Deer shoving on the way. You take my deer, I take your sheep. So Cracky, I mean, he is doing a good job of kind of messing with the deer spawn a bit, so it looks like BC won't be able to get too much good value there. The tech out complaint now, I wonder if this is just going to be a multi-TC build. Surely Ottoman's just fast castle. Okay, thank God it's not going to be a fast multi-TC build. He's just gone Jiangnan for the scalability. Jiangnan is a very interesting proposition when you think about it, right? Like, because you pay... Well, the 15% discount ends up being 520 resources, right? So... After, what, 6 buildings? Just once you're past 6 buildings, you actually pay back Jiangnan. That's an interesting thought, right? And it's feasible that you go deep enough into the feudal age with spam that happens. The other interesting thing is if you add in horsemen, you get your rebate even quicker, right? You get your money back. Because remember, if you build an archery range or a racks, it's an 80 resource unit you get for free. If you build a stables, it's a 120 resource unit you get for free. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at, like, eventually 3 archery ranges, maybe 1 or 2 stables with double racks. So you could actually reach that kind of conversion point where Jiangnan is 100% a positive from an eco exchange, but it's also already a positive from getting your initial units together to attack. Weird part is not actually attacking yet. So what's the goal here? Is he... No, he's not going multi-TC. There's no way you just rush TC here. I'm a bit confused as to what Cracky's build is here. Okay, we've... Oh, he's going Palace Guard. Would that not have just lost to Sipahi as well, though? I mean, I guess he's just scoured that it's going to be fast castle, right? When you see an outpost like this, it's pretty obvious, but what do you do about this outpost now? I guess the thought process here from Cracky is with Palace Guard, he'll be quick enough to dive the base and do some damage, but you have to remember, these Palace Guard are not very tanky, folks. They're incredibly flimsy. In fact, it's, you know, not often that you feel good about building Palace Guard, at least definitely not for diving the enemy base. Look at this, 2 ranged armor, 120 HP, and you paid quite a lofty sum for that, 125 resources. Scout also denied out. Oh, Cracky. Riding blind here, so it's going to be the ram play. Unfortunately for him, Beasty has everything he needs for the tech up now. So extra gold gathered is a bonus, right, for things like Undermesh against Shiganu Mass, which makes sense. But outside that, you don't need too much here, right? Like, this should be probably Men-at-Arms with Undermesh to just flood and push out. Yeah, it's interesting. I've seen some games where Palace Guard look okay, but the whole idea in those games is that they're not counted yet, and you're the one going fast castle. So the logic is you build a handful of Palace Guard, you get a reaction to counter them, and then you go Castle Age, and then they're not counted anymore, right? But like playing Palace Guard in the Feudal Age for Feudal Age only, I have only seen one game where that looked good, and that was a Pro Scouts game against the Delhi. And even then, I felt that the Delhi player made mistakes for that to even work. Yeah, I think Cracky might be clown carring too. He's a dirty piece of crap. In your hot, boys! It's time to begin the fun time. Sec up complete though. Let's see, which way does Beasty want to go about this? Gold has been forfeited. He's only got 350 gold here. It is going to be the racks. Sometimes I think I watch too much OV4. Some people tell me I don't watch enough. But it's just Men-at-Arms sliding, right? Like, he's even snuck out. Okay, come on. Dude, this is huge. Cracky, because he lost the scout, Beasty knows he can get away with playing onto food on the flank. This is wild. I think Cracky, after the scout goes down, it's worth sending a single Chuganu onto that west side, but instead it's going to be a dive under the main. Villagers are going to be pulled to deal with the ram. It's costing him a little here, right? But like, this is fine, considering that Cracky's all in. Wait, what was that villager doing? Lot of idle time, but the smart move there by Cracky. Notice he moved the ram away from the TC. Beasty doesn't have wheelbarrow, so if he dove out to try and snipe this ram, he'd end up losing about 3 villagers to kill it. Ram goes down, new one being built up, and Men-at-Arms now on the way, and Beasty just needs to get back to gathering ASAP. Wait, did he not? What happened? Oh my... Okay, so he wants the gold instead. Very interesting choice. Oh my god, are you kidding me? If Cracky had just been delayed more in his check there, he would have spotted the gold. Instead, Beasty gets what he needs. That's wild. I can't actually believe that. The difference a few seconds make, and the difference that patrolling makes in these type of games. It's crazy as well, because Cracky assumes that Beasty's after the gold as well. He's checking everywhere for it. Yet it's being gathered from underneath his very nose. New ram coming in from Cracky. So green, now the dive again. Beasty, only 4 Men-at-Arms so far, but we have got a mango now. This is big. Remember, this is not a bad way of actually dealing with a ram itself. Instead, it looks like... Wait, Cracky, he's trying to dive to snipe out the siege. Men-at-Arms going to go in, though. This is a big mistake. Cracky gets baited underneath the TC too far. Ram, I don't think it gets away from this. The Mango Smash should be able to come in here. The Men-at-Arms are going to break it quick enough, and that's going to be a heavy loss of Chuganu. Second wave hits the backside of the base, but with a third of your units already down, and another third soon to flop, this looks over. Oh, damn. That was actually really well played by Beasty to bait him in like that. The timing on that was actually perfect. Just kind of hook, line, and sinker moment, right? Now I don't think there's much you can do here. I mean, the crazy part is the gold sneak didn't even matter in the end. It was just the over-invested ram, right? Like, your clown carring was 16 inside, and Men-at-Arms can actually dive you. That was always the concern here, right? There's nothing you can do to offset that. Maybe going 2 rams works a bit better, because then they don't just, you know, immediately get exposed, right? If one ram goes down, you put all the remaining Chuganu in the second and leave. But no, I don't think there is any real leaving to be done in this game. Love the Imam choice coming out from Beasty. Rushing for the relic straight away. Because he understands the follow-up play, right? The recovery arc. The way that Cracky can try to get back in this game now is going castle with Shaolin Monastery. Looks not being grabbed though. You think this looks like a fear loss? I don't think it's just a fear loss, actually. I think it... I mean, you can... The thing is, you can say something like fear loss and then pile everything into anything, right? Like, I do this for a living. I can tell you. You can weave the story. Because what you're saying, that like you can extract fear loss from like, yeah, it's a fear loss because he felt like he needed to put all the Chuganu in instead of checking the flanks, right? Because he should have had a Chuganu over here. And he's too busy thinking about how Beasty is going to steal his future wife, so his scout wasn't being microed away, right? The reality is, like, Cracky did not scout the flanks, even though they didn't come in the picture. The goal gathering, I think that didn't really matter that much in the end. The food was the bigger issue. But, like, the crazy part is, if we're being totally real with Anatolian Hills, he was never going to run out of food at home anyway. Oh, wait. Cracky's here to tell us exactly what it is. Is it that Ottomans need to be nerfed? I can tell you exactly what it is. What the is that? Didn't trust in the Shaolin monks. Spent too much time with your scout laying the Beastie's deer. Didn't check his gold, notice the fast castle. True. Yeah, like the deer play, I get why you tunnel visioned it, right? It was double deer on top of each other. I do also think you spent a bit of time just sitting at home, and I think that was also because you were messing with the deer. Like, your units were just produced here, and they weren't even moving. Like, if you're going to produce early units, they need to be moving towards the condition for being created straight away. And, oh my god. Leave. Just leave. No, don't even try. Don't even... No. Cracky, please. He's like, if I could just kill that mango before it reaches me. Please, mango, no. No! Dude, this game is over. Go next. Chuganu arrive and try and defend now, but more relics on the way home. Nice guy Beasty just wants you to know the game's already over, so you can leave. Now, we do have another game coming up between these two. It's back-to-back from Cracky on the GG. I think Beasty picked something else, though. But this game, I think it's fair to say, looks like it's ran its course. And he has got the tech up. I guess he just wanted to scratch that one off the bucket list. All right. Let's quickly go ahead and get the next game ready. Still equal Vils winnable. Why'd you leave then, Cracky? He's like, because Juji is so OP in Castle Age, it wouldn't have been fair. All right, so let's get the next game ready for these two. So they had a game on Highview next as a follow-up. Japanese Juji. I feel like this is a really good matchup for Japan, no? As long as they don't build Yumi in Feudal Age. Right? Maybe? Possibly? I don't know. Can we repeat the question? Take two with the Juji Clown Car time. Once again against Beasty, but a different map and a different civ this time. Japanese on Highview in the hands of Alex. So, this matchup, I think, is a feudal all-in. There's no hesitation about it. And actually, I guess the nice thing here is, like Cracky, he said, and he felt like where it went wrong is that he was a little bit slow on his like all-in timing because he mis-ID'd and didn't realize it was fast castle straight away. With that in mind, in this matchup, you should, A, definitely scout, but B, you can quite safely assume that a Japanese player is trying fast castle. Because anytime a Japanese player tries anything but fast castle, the game tends to end with, imagine the Japanese flag, and then take away the golden sun, golden flower in the center. That's how it looks. It's a full surrender type situation. Look at the spawn. Oh. Okay, yeah, no, dude. I think Cracky has a good shot here, guys. I watch a lot of Japan. I dissect a lot of Japan. I can tell you that is not a Japanese-friendly spawn. Berry gold on the front side of your base. Deer as well. There's literally nothing behind him. If Chuganu spam comes in here, you can get completely blocked. And if a clown car is added in, outposts will not save you. Yeah, it's kind of funny how like the community makes better versions of maps that exist in the game and the devs just don't implement them, right? Like, we made a good Lipany. We now have made a good High View, and that's probably not going to ever get put into the game. Do I sound really sour these days? I mean, it is just a shame, dude. Like, we've got so many incredible people in the community that are actually putting in the hours to fix mistakes made on the development side, to rectify, like, suboptimal things. But then it never gets actually officially implemented, which is kind of a heartbreaker. We have so many cool map designers that have created quirky maps that I'd love to see in ranked play. And I feel at this stage what needs to be happening is that there needs to be a rotation of maps every month. Like, literally, all we need to do, this is the system you create. We have a veto system already, right? People can block out maps they don't want. Every month, you look at the list of most like banned out maps, and you rotate them out and rotate 3 new ones in. That's how you keep the map pool fresh. You just keep rotating like that constantly. Because that's telling you what the community do or don't want in ranked, right? And you do that frequently, things feel fresh. You wait 3 months to do any change at all, and people are sick and tired of the maps they've seen. Yeah, every season add in a few community maps. Because the logic there is, like, if the maps suck, people will just veto them. So then it was, like, then you know it was a bad map, it's never going to work. But, like, let's say you added Woodwall in, and Woodwall starts getting picked, but let's say, like, Highview gets banned. And let's say, like, Lipany just keeps getting banned, right? And you're like, oh, wow, okay, people like Woodwall more. Good thing we done that experimentation, because now we as a dev now know the community really like this different map. How do we then expand on that? What new maps can we add in past this? But that's the thing that's kind of missing. Oh my god! Cracky, dude, like, bro, Cracky, can you take all this feedback I just gave and give it to the devs? Because you clearly own Microsoft. What is that? A lot of food is what that is. That is 96 food within the Medigarden. Okay, sorry, no, he doesn't quite reach 96, but wait, really? You want the gold over the food? Okay, you do you, buddy. But not only is it he's got resources like this, it's that Beasty has exposed resources like this. This might be a quick one. Archer range coming in. I don't think Cracky's going to go for Xiangnan this time, by the way. I don't think it's worth it. I think you just go triple archer range, and then you go blacksmiths in a rush and get siege engineering. Steel Arrow doesn't even matter in this matchup because your opponent's not going to build a single unit to contest you, right? He's going to try to rush castle. Love the gathering on the front side. We've already got Tawara. No Takazaiku just yet, though. Yeah, this game is... I think this game is actually, funnily enough, very much in Juji's favor. Unless Cracky really messes up and decides he wants to attack some deer. That could do it. If he's too busy laming deer. No, Cracky. Let them live. Let them live. Good lad. Yeah, so now he's going to come in and camp the berries. That's going to force BC back onto the sheep, which he doesn't have a substantial amount of anyway. Only 8 sheep in this game. I wouldn't even be surprised if a villager gets pulled to just outpost up the area. It's not really necessary here, though. And yeah, there you go. Smart choice made by Cracky, straight into the siege engineering. Did someone request clown carring? No one requested clown carring. You can leave now, thank you. You know, I always enjoy these games. And you aren't going to believe me when I say that, but no, hear me out, guys. I actually really enjoy these games. Because these go in the portfolio that I send across to the devs of examples as to why Chuganu should get nerfed. And I have a feeling I'm going to have another game for the portfolio. Yeah, if it makes you feel better about like struggling with clown carring, you're not alone. Like a lot of players struggle with it. We just watched Puppypaw earlier. Puppypaw, easily one of the most talented and gifted players in AoE4. He was actually having a hard time getting the Lombo timing right. He was just losing so many on it. I think Chiganu are a bit easier. Their timing is a bit more fine-tuned to get that spread out. Here we go. Ram now moving in. Remember, each of these Chiganu do 12 damage. I think this is one Chiganu too early, by the way. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's cool. Beasty. He got textile straight away. Unfortunately, I just don't think it changes anything here. Ooh, bit of a miss micro. Cracky. Buddy, old pal. Chiganu. Ooh, he's going to get him inside. Cracky going past this. Beasty, I mean, he's actually clearing this up. I think Cracky got a bit scrambled there. That's going to be dead Ram. At this point, you just back off and build a second one. It's not worth it. Yeah, exactly. Like, you can keep the other Ram and use it because it might get a strikeout before it dies. But legit, if you go in with this Ram again, you lose the game. Beasty, not making this easy for Cracky, though. Repair crew is going to come through in time. And Flown Gate now in the way. Okay, so Cracky really needs to double down now. Steel Arrow is in. Undermesh is definitely worth it at this stage. Ram's going to go after the houses. Oh, I don't like that. So if he actually just kept this Ram back, he could move in and get a free strike on the outpost. Like, blocking the gold is key here. It's nice to get rid of a house, sure, but I don't think it's be-all end-all. Triple Ram. Okay. Crackmeister means business. He might try to delete some of the farms, although I think at this stage the TC might kill him first. Oh, wait, no. Crack. You had the final hit, dude. You actually had the final hit there. Okay, outpost goes down though, so it looks like Beasty's forfeiting the gold. Really? With 220 gold, what are you going to build? Okay, yeah, we're going to go Horseman for the cleanup, right? Does this work, though? Like, housing's a problem now. Take out complete, but farmhouse is being targeted. He keeps up the Mount Samurai. Okay, wait, so he is still going Mount Samurai. I don't like the outlook of this. Beasty, he has 2 Mount Samurai going up against 20 plus Chiganu. And remember, they can just always supplement their health by jumping in and out of the Ram, so you don't even strike them. This is going to be a hard hold for Beasty. I mean, if you want to make this easier, all you have to do now is add in Raxes on the other side, but I think Chiganu works well. The problem with adding in Raxes is that quite often, like, the Swim is going to do no damage in that fight against the Mount Samurai. Chiganu are much better because they immediately remove the deflective armor. Farmhouses again. Beasty's in trouble, actually. Like, Cracky's hitting this correctly. He's starving population. Because the one risk, right, is that actually Beasty could maybe just get Horsemen together. Now Beasty trying to shift out. The scout sees him, though. Oh, no. And this is big. He can't allow the stable to go down. Remember, this is Yorishiro stables. It's like losing 3 stables, not 1. Samurai's trying to commit here. He's not going to be able to, though. He's going to have to pull him away. But unfortunately, that does mean stables is going to go down. So first Yorishiro ends up being a waste. Ram is at least going to get splintered. But we're now up to 28 Chiganu. That Mount Samurai, he never did get healed. Relic is at least on the way back. Wait, is Beasty going to try to do something cheeky here? In fairness... No, sadly, the tree line didn't favor him there. Wallalol's going to be a whiff. Back into Clown Car we go. Yeah, actually, Beasty just has nothing right now. He's finally got gold, but now he doesn't have any production buildings. He needs to build some away from home. Chiganu are at least getting carved up like turkeys. Second wave's coming on the south side. There's only so much one samurai can do, though. You know, it's interesting with this gold access. I actually think the best move for Beasty, like, maybe is Yumi. It's difficult, though. Because at this stage, there's enough Chigunu to dive you when you try to build a structure, right? Another ram coming in. So the gold is going to be forced to retreat here. So 400 gold in the bank. Beasty can get something to get... Oh, no. Could have got something together. I'm trying to figure out how Beasty gets out of this now. There's another ram coming in. He's got the wood together. Stable's in the same place the last time. Wait, so we're basically repeating history. He is going to have 2 more samurai this time than last time. However... Oh, sorry, 1 more samurai. However, there's substantially more Chigunu this time. Oh, there's one Beasty. Whoa. Oh, no. No, 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 no! Okay, that's it, man. Just get out of the game. This is doing things to your mental game at this point. This has to be so infuriating. Mount Samurai are going to peel back. That's well played by Beasty, right? That's the one play he has here is he can pull off and then just heal up. Because if one Mount Samurai goes down, it's all over, right? And Beasty, he has moved back onto the gold. I wonder, does Cracky know? He's actually circling most of the base, so this should become very obvious now. I think it might. Starting to move in deeper. More raps coming. He's an 11 villager lead. Notice that we aren't going to be seeing Castlage in this game, though. I think Cracky either wins or loses off this play. Well, Farmhouse is coming up in the meantime. Once again, just getting house blocked. Oh, God. Okay, Cracky has played this remarkably well. The issue for Beasty is even if he had the resources, he can't utilize them. He's always pop locked. I don't know if I feel like Japan is usually meant to be countered this hard. The spawn definitely helped a lot, but man, Cracky, when he understands it's time for a feudal all-in, you can see what he can do. Maybe this is what we could have seen up against the Ottomans if he just sniffed out a bit sooner. Ugh. Dirty Civ. What do we call those ones? Is it Battle of the Worst Civs, maybe? Juji are meant for one thing only. Alright, there we go. Clown Car 32. Whoop, whoop. Still gonna master those siege towers, my friend. Beasty losing. What? Oh, I'm gonna have to stamp those two together. I think those go together to make one video. So, let me have a look on the ladder still. Wondering if anyone's coming online. Probably not, right? Like, the games are tomorrow, so I imagine, if anything, there's probably scrims going on in top secret. Huh? Isn't that Beasty? No, someone else took the name now, right? Yeah, Beasty used to be called Random Civ. Having a look now, because I'm curious. Because Hung ADC is ranked 54th, so who the hell is he up against? Ranked 352 in Season 6. Alright, let's have a look at the other options. Maybe we do this, though. Seems like a player from Korea. I'm not sure who, though. Everyone's copying your run. Oh, okay. Patented, stamped, right? Oh, we did have that Gully Deckle versus Dragavan game that I think is still viewable. Let's check in on Hung. It's actually been a while since I've watched Hung ADC, actually. Made a guide for it. Pick random OP strat. That's true. It's OP until you get one of the not OP civs. Then it's like trash strat, needs more iterations, right? Oh, I need to open the door. It's gonna get hot in here. Nice. My daughter's having a nap, so she can't come in and destroy my green screen. Try to flex my biceps? Nah, dude, you gotta flex the... Is that triceps? No, wait, I can't remember. Yep, those things. Leg muscle things. You wouldn't believe I've actually got, like, diploma in sports-related education. You can tell I haven't used it in a while. Which StarCraft 2 pro-Korean player is this? Are they one of the pro-Korean players? Well, they're definitely from Korea, and they're actually fairly decent in the game. Ranked 300th in the last season. And pretty much just following the trend of kind of Beasty level accounts by calling himself Random Civ here. English up against Ibids. Other side of this, actually a pretty talented player, Hung ADC, who I believe is ranked 54th in the world right now. Yeah, this is a Vietnamese player, by the way. We've seen Hung ADC before. You guys actually might remember him. I think his biggest claim to fame would have been back in... Oh, what was the tournament? It was the team tournament, right? I think like that to me was the big standout one when he was on the same team as one or two other legends from AoE 2. Trying to remember the name of the player now. I'm going to kick myself for not remembering the name of the player. ACCM, right? I think he was on a team with ACCM and Backed back when AoE 4 first came out and Lidical ran that 3v3 tournament. That was when I noticed Hung ADC, but I like that he's really been grinding out the 1v1s and climbing up the ladders. Even made some tournament appearances, right? Not able to get any deep runs so far, but I'm always game for seeing more players out of the Asian region. It's why I've been such a big fan of the Louis and CSO journey, right? Like, I think it's beneficial for the entire scene when you have rep from your home environment. Because otherwise, it's very easy to just get just kind of alienated by the ecosystem because you just feel like your whole region isn't being repped at all. There are some scenes where it kind of like flips the other way. I think that for the most holds true. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that's a very fair point that you can make a case study around. Like, for example, Dota 2, right? Like, I'm a Brit and Dota 2 for a long time. Like we just had no one to cheer on in like the Dota 2 sphere, right? There was no good pro players. I wouldn't be surprised if in all that time, before we start to have a few players coming through, League of Legends was by far more dominant in the UK than Dota 2. Because there you at least had like you had the leagues, right? You had some players on the up and up. But in the Dota sphere, it was, you know, very kind of German oriented, very Eastern European oriented. Even a decent amount of NA. Abbey of King's coming in this game, by the way. That's kind of interesting. English versus Ibids, especially on this map, Council Hall is kind of king, right? Council Hall on this type of map, you just get your first Lombos in position so quickly. And with this spawn, it's kind of wild to me. Random Civ, if he just actually had thought about this for a second, he could have insta-ended the game. Unfortunately, he never scouted his opponent's spawn, but even without that info, considering the distance on the map, Council Hall just always feels king here. Especially when you just wall the short ramp, but instead, Hung ADC getting an easier game. Oh, wow, and he went Growth Wing. This is why I always love checking out unfamiliar faces. You just get so many cool, wild, different builds, right? And this is definitely one of them. And an archery range play. Okay, so Hung is going to try to punish the 2TC build. Makes sense, right? With him going Growth Wing, he has to punish the 2TC build. Otherwise, he's just a mile behind in this game. Looks like we might have had some idle villager time, though. So, Desert Raid opening. Makes sense, right? You need this to deal with the king. I wonder if he's going to invest more or just go castle. Because like, the problem of going too deep into Feudal Age here is you don't really have any real upside as the Ibids. It's all kind of negative, right? Your real value play comes out of castle. That's where options open up. That's where you're able to rush relics. And that's where you're able to build a lead. Second TC, though, now coming in. This could be on the gold on the forward. And the Desert Raider isn't going to attack, which is a little bit surprising, actually. I think that's a mistake. Hung could have easily done some damage to this attempt to TC. I think his worry, though, is like if you send a Desert Raider in, these villagers can shortbow you, so he doesn't want to risk it at all. King revealed, Desert Raider will be ready to contest that, though. Best thing to do here would actually be to just forward with the scout, so you tank the charge in, and then the Desert Raider wins. Yeah, funnily enough, actually, if Hung ADC goes double Desert Raider, the king can never, ever do anything. One's usually good enough in itself, though, and that wall... Oh, random Civ. If he made this move a little bit earlier, maybe. But now he doesn't have control of the momentum in this matchup now, right? Like, behind this, Hung has already stockpiling resources for a fast castle build. This is going to be an Advancing Wing play. So what? We'll probably be looking at Advancing Wing into... I'd say Golem Spam's your best friend here. Golems are really OP on Cliffside. More so than almost any other map in rotation because it's so quick to reach the enemy base. But the other cool thing is it gives you a really quick ramp up into building siege. If you go Camel Lancers, remember, you won't be able to build siege here because he didn't go for the military wing reinforcement. Well, Hung hasn't pulled the trigger yet, so we're getting a full tech. That has to be logistics. Maybe Master Smiths? Master Smiths works really well, but yeah, he's going to go logistics. So the reason Master Smiths also works really well here is you drop a blacksmith while you're teching up, you get Undermesh level 1, you prep 3 Raxas, and then start spamming Golems. And then they immediately, at the start of that age, already have 6 armor, which allows them to dive the defenses, even the English, right? So like, it's a very powerful play to make. Instead, I guess they didn't feel like they'd hit their timing quick enough here before White Tower came out. So instead, they're just going to play for full eco advantage. That in mind then, does Hung not build archers while he's prepping a tech up? Because obviously you're going to open Camel Lancers now, that's kind of a given. But building a few archers in prep for the transitional stage isn't a bad idea. It also gives you a quick way of building into siege when you assault the enemy base. Because once again, like going Camel Lancers here, you won't have a transition point where you can rush a Manjanique or build a ram to deal with this TC. Should be the moment of truth here. 50 seconds out. 380 wood has been saved up, so it should be a double production building drop in a sec. And the White Tower is going to be dropped right here. There's a perfect position for it, right? It protects both the TCs. You're going to have some room to build a few farms around it. It also actually just kind of encapsulates the short ramp, right? It stops a flood through there. If he builds a White Tower back here, it's a bad, bad base layout. Love this from Hung as well, just playing flank resources. Dangerous against the king, right? But that's what the Desert Raid is for. It's kind of crazy after all these flashes. The Desert Raider still has half its HP. And there we go, yeah. So White Tower, little bit more defensive than I would have liked here. I think you should be placing it about here. That way, nothing can sneak in through here at all on the flanks, right? I think he's worried about the south side being attacked, though, which is why he's placed it as close as possible to the TC. Oh, a very different approach. And it's immediately crossbows. Okay, so that is very surprising here. Dervishes are now walking back the relics. Looks like he's actually going to drop it and move away. That's a little bit surprising, actually. If he just kept running, he could have mass healed himself. Desert Raider's now here, though, so like I'm a little bit surprised he's still backing away. Because once the Desert Raider's there, the king can't really contest you. Especially if you just chain heal him, right? I suppose have been revealed, though. A lot of free information given over to the English. This is how you typically don't want to play your games, right? Like, you're meant to kind of hide, smuggle these type of details until you get something out of it. For example, bait the king in range, then immediately take him out with crossbows. So Relic's now on the way home. And it is a grab around the backside. So really well played here. Hung, this is exactly what you need to be doing in the logistics wing play. It's only valuable if you can guarantee 4 minimum, if not 5. The way you guarantee 5 is you take the more dangerously located relics first. Looks like the knight is scouting, but won't be able to find it on his own. This is one of the very few negatives about White Tower, is White Tower cannot produce scouts, so you don't have a way of amplifying your vision on the map. And when you're playing against these fast relic type builds, you really wish you did. Interesting choice to go double archery range. I'm not sure why. It's almost like Purple forgot that he can produce units out of this White Tower. Because I think he's going longbows, which means one archery range makes sense because you need to get veterancy, but multiple... Okay, now this build literally makes no sense. I think he just totally forgot that the White Tower is more than the stables. This would make sense if he was queuing in the White Tower right now, but he's not. So he just wasted 300 wood for no reason. That's pretty expensive considering how many extra farms that could have been, right? Why do horses get scared by camels but not elephants? Maybe they just find the humps intimidating. I mean, if you think about it, if you saw something that had like this kind of hump thing like that and it was still alive, I feel like you'd be more intimidated than something kind of well-rounded like an elephant, right? It's like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's people who hated that guy and they didn't even know why they hated him. Just because he looked different. But then you had like the chubby priest, everyone loved that guy. It's literally the same thing. The regular people are just horses. Anyway, Trebuchet's coming out now. Treb's setting up. The White Tower's going to start getting sieged pretty quick here. Oh, I actually love that. He went for the TC first. Sorry, I was just organizing when I'm going bouldering. It looks like the new plan is to go bouldering at 3. So we've got 2 more hours of content. I love that he goes TC first, though, because that's really smart. Like, a White Tower is just going to take way too long to den. There's actually a shot to take out the Treb before there's an appropriate reaction here. It's also more forward, which means you can kind of fall back to the cliff deeper, right? Compared to the White Tower, where you have to be more on the edge. So it's more likely you get sniped by a Springald. Hung. It's kind of funny. He could just be building Springalds on the front line, but he's just queuing them up at the Siege Workshop. Raid attempt on the flank. That's never going to break. Right. No, he should be fine with this. You can just send 2 crossbows down to deal with this. And then repair if it ever gets low. Sacred Site's starting to be locked in, though. Crossbow mass... it's getting big, but like I don't like this approach right now from Purple because it's very easy to just build mangoes in reaction, right? And you're playing a choke point battle. Like, yeah, you can say Hong's doing the same thing with crossbows, but rushing siege in mass, it has some clear like limitations, right? Like White Tower is very strong for this. There's also one building, right? You know, you can't just build them wherever. Free Springles already. Treb. It's got that TC down to half HP. There is still one relic not grabbed, right? And I already know this is... Everyone at this point must have experienced this on Cliffside. Classic Edge spawn. Neither player has actually seen the relic. This is why at the highest level, players have started scouting every part of the map for this very reason. Like, especially at this stage in the game, there's nothing left for you to do but scout the fog, right? Crossbow finally arrives, so that should be enough to keep him at bay here. Main mass is blobbing up for an assault, but this is a bad fight for Purple to be taking. If he can't bait this in range of his aura, he shouldn't be here. Bit of a mistake there, Hong. He did walk in. Springle's trading out now. Oh, that was so unnecessary. Yeah, Hung, this was a hard miss micro. He's still going to win the fight, but there was no reason to ever give the attack speed across there. He could have just stood here. Didn't need to send a melee unit at all. If he didn't, then the Spring will trade out evenly, right? The crossbow mass trades out even better. Instead, the Spring gets more value than it ever should. Yeah, that was a mistake. I hope Hung learns from that. There should never be an aura trigger there. This is the whole reason why trebuchets are actually a solid solution to the English threat on this map. There's just no realistic way in which that aura should ever trigger when they're defending like this. Hey, you think the attack speed aura on the siege is ridiculous? Do you guys remember when the Yam aura used to apply to siege? Then that was in the middle of the age of Springolds as well. Oh my god, dude. I still have nightmares about that. What a disgusting time. Dove is going to be able to get away. So this is still kind of a nuisance, right? Even if you can decap him on the Sacred Site occasionally, it's still a lot more gold trickle going in for Hung, but it's keeping him competitive with the 2 TC build. We have now got 2 Trebs coming out. It looks like Purple switching up into Horseman, though. Sprills. Oh, whoopsie. Oh, that was cheeky. I love that. The Trebuchet gives more vision than the White Tower in this area, right? That was actually a really smart little move. Trebs are starting to delete the production buildings now. The archer ranges don't really matter. It's kind of a wasted effort. Your opponent can never beat you in archer mass now with crossbow, right? So like going for the TCs still makes a lot more sense now. Yeah, there's some auras that do apply, some that don't. So for example, the Kurotai buff applies to siege, which I think is fine. I think Kurotai needs that for it to even be remotely good. Like, I was actually the person that like fought tooth and nail for them to actually add bonus damage getting buffed. Right, town now being assaulted though. This is kind of smart, right? Like, you could go for the TC like I talked about, but the TC doesn't open the floodgates. It does stop the eco escalation, but it's still already an eco lead. If you take out the White Tower, while your army is substantially larger, you get a dive opportunity here. Villagers are starting to be pulled for the repair, but third Trebuchet is now in the way. Ooh, I think Purple's misread this. He doesn't realize it's about to be 3 Trebs, right? So he's going to be at the verge of being on fire here. Shots coming in. Hung? No, come on. Don't be that guy. Get to work. Okay, so here we go. Third unpacking. White Tower's going down, guys. And Purple is not ready with the Horseman Mass yet, right? Like, 18 isn't that scary. Especially in a choke point. Maybe, we're going to find out. If the Dervish comes here... Crossbows. Start standing the ground. He has got the Mammoth's Bravery as well. Dervish has not moved up, though. Horsemen are going to try and wrap around the side, but the crossbow mass is indeed large enough to just stand its ground. A lot of them are going to fall here in the trade. And Hung, dude, please bring the Dervish. It makes such a world of difference against veteran horsemen here. We'll still be able to stabilize, but it comes at a much higher price. Mango's also now marching up. Crossbows in the meantime. Wait, what is this guy? And what is that sub? Thank you very much, Joro. Appreciate the sub, buddy. Hope you're having a good day. I think you're having a better day than Purple. You're having a better day than my brain right now. That was, that was so weird. From multiple angles, right? Little tip to people, this Dervish has the Camel Aura, so he does debuff Cav. If he'd been near the front line, those horsemen would have killed notably less crossbows. Still, it's a good position to be in, right? Like, White Tower is dead. It's trying to be repaired, but is dead. And this is going to light a fire under Purple's ass to run quicker than he wants to, because this is going to start putting him on the verge of a landmark victory, right? They're all on one screen. Like, you'd think we're watching an HRE replay. This is such a weird strike, right? But he can just back-to-back. Spearman also now being added in. So at this stage, Purple, he can't win the direct fight. I think this is over. $1,500 gold being floated, by the way. If he just pulls more villagers under wood, he could have a lot of siege right now. And yeah, Purple's just trying to go for a flank attack. I think the problem here is actually, it should be realistic for Blue to end the game before you kill enough eco for it to matter. Yeah, kind of surprising, right? That he went for the growth wing first. I mean, so like, before everyone was like, oh, he didn't abuse the A villager age up. No, he just abused the earlier one. So technically, he's still done it, right? He just abused the free villager age up, which is still a big advantage. But the logistics was a really cool detail. I'm glad we got to see that. I do think Purple misplayed quite a bit of this, though. Horseman numbers are bulking up, but second landmark now down. One left to go. Last one is at least more tanky, right? 7k HP. Purple does have 32 horsemen, but a decent chunk of them are in the wrong location come around the back right now. I actually think Hung just pulls all the villages right now to end the game. Yeah! Let's send it! Oh, man. He's like, whatever you say, coach. Oh, it looks like Purple's about to get hung out to dry here. Blue just needs to send it all in. TC the target. I don't think we don't even have textiles. That's how insane this is. He could have textiles, but chose not to. Villagers in to guarantee the White Tower never goes back up. Trebuchet in under the TC. It's too late. It's actually too late. Purple won't be able to defend this. Like, I don't even know why he's waiting. He needs to go. He needed to go 10 seconds ago. I'm just going to march in. I mean, the villagers, they should be frontlining for the crossbows, but I don't think it matters either way. This is done. The Iabid all-in villager pool, baby. Ah, that's the content I came for. Wait, did we just call that one Iabid villagers or OP? What do we call that one? I don't know. Like, is that one? I don't think that one's that uploadable. Like, it's cute what you done in the end, but the rest of the game was pretty static and stagnant, right? Yeah. All right. Good game, lads. What else we got now? Who's Kinner? A gold, okay. Wait. Frank is back at it. I'd rather stick a fork in my eye than go to high view. And I don't have a fork, so we're not going to high view. Get me out of that. Oh, is MSN on right now? He's searching. Do we maybe catch some MSN gameplay? Quite possibly. Alright, let's give this a sec. We'll check who's on the ladder quickly. If you know nerf Abby this patch, I hope not. I don't think they should. They need to nerf White Tower. Like, the White Tower is the problem, not the King. The King is not the problem. You could maybe adapt the way he heals a bit. I think the King should actually be slower than a Knight, by the way. I'd say you make the King slower than a Knight, and then you tweak White Tower. Wait, what is this name? What? Please tell me this is someone I know. That's a good name. A strong name. Someone called Saramagoon. Saramgoon. Alright, Emerson's in game. Pog. Who's he got? Who is this? I just think I've seen that name before. Let's have a look. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, so MSN's ranked 128th, and this is ranked 177, so they're pretty tight. Oh wow, in previous seasons, yeah, season 6, they were pretty much the same rank as well. MSN 400, this person 386. Should be a fairly tight one. Nice. Wait, what's this? Now, the garrison slots and damage of White Tower, I mean, it might actually be more the production that's the issue. What day am I casting this weekend? Both. Yeah, I don't get to sleep. Oh. Should be one day with Lidicore and one day with Winston. Thanks, Fablop. Are you sure? I mean, I think I know everything, remember?
Pets bring so much joy.
Oh no, bugger off ads. I think... I'm trying to think, like, wait, wasn't there a strategy game coming out soon? I could have sworn there was one coming out soon that I wanted to check out. I know, kind of in paranoia mode about whether anyone will tune in for those type of things, but I've been thinking about like occasionally checking out like new releases of strategy games. I can't find it now. I was looking at it the other week. I was like, ooh, I might check that out. I can't find it. I'll have a look. Wait, what's all this talk about bald people now? Who is the who wears bald the best? There are a lot of like prologue release games at the moment. I think it's in prep for the Summerfest, right? New mouse, new mouse. Yeah. We got an excuse. We got an excuse. So when you win, it's not you, it's the new mouse. Wait, was it? Did I get sent a key mailer? Maybe. Maybe that's what it was. Let me have a look. Runes of Errol? Maybe? No, that was the card game thing. I can't find it. There's definitely something somewhere. I'll have to find it later. Because there's going to be a lot of games that people are going to be trying out on like the 24th, 25th of June. Actually, one big thing I've got my eyes on, guys, is Project Loki. So we, you know, if you guys have been checking out Project Loki and you're curious, I might be crafting some content around that. I'm freaking excited for that game. Charles is still the best CS team to ever be. I'm trying to think if there's anyone who's contesting that. Yeah, but like, the Danes didn't put out the best Dota 2 team ever, right? Well, that's not true either, is that? Because OG does have good old Big Daddy No Tail. You Danish people stop being so perfect. In fairness, you guys got crotch stomped in Apex, is that? I mean, you got Nasky, but like, there isn't any Danish world champs, right? Wait, Verhoost? I'm trying to remember. Because he's American, but I don't know if he's got origins from there. I don't think so. And not like protein works. I got my protein works right here. Still waiting on the Nootropics, right? We only have the cherry sour bomb ones. So I'm waiting on the other Nootropics. Scared me? You know what scares me? Where's your protein works? Is it in hand yet? It better be. Alright, should we get to it? So we actually watched this matchup a while ago, right? Beasty Cutie has said he does not know how the Bastards are meant to win this particular matchup. Let's see if he can get schooled by a kid on the matter, because we've got MSN DK, 14, 15-year-old prodigy from Denmark, going up against a choice of name that's appropriate to the region, but not specifically the exact country, because this is actually a Chinese player ranked 177th 77th rather in the world right now. So 177 versus, I think we said MSN's like 132. So a pretty tight matchup between the two. Japanese are an interesting ball for Abbassids here, right? Like, Abbassids actually do not like civs that rush Castle Age, and Japan is one of the kings amongst them, because unlike other civs, they actually get aggressive straight away, right? Like, you think about other civs that go fast castle, such as HRE. Abbassids can contest that at least a bit better, because that civ isn't going to immediately just start flooding a million units, but the Zerg-like nature of the Yorishiro drops in Castle for the Japanese makes them a difficult issue for the Abbassids to solve, which is why most Abbassid players have been trying to find ways of all-inning in the feudal. The tough part is it's usually very difficult to break the defenses quick enough to do any substantial damage. Like, even this military wing play feels really underwhelming against the Japanese because of their ability to just easily outpost up straight away and not care. Why can they do that? Because of the stone drop-off from Gathering Gold. It gives them the arrow slits so organically. And yeah, the spawn is pretty delicious here, right? Berries plus the gold retracted. Wouldn't mind seeing a small tree line wall here just to try and make rotations a bit more uncomfortable, but it shouldn't matter too much, right? Like, he can rotate either way, this way or that way. Looking at the spawn on the other side, I mean, upside for MSN, he did actually get 2 berries really close by, so he can kind of remain optimal in his push. I imagine we'll be looking at stables very quickly to get... Nah, scrap that. A lot of matchups, you want to do a stables opening as a Bassids because you get the 1-1-1 build. It covers every corner of the triangle, right? Because the military wing gives you spears and gives you archers. In this matchup, the horsemen are kind of worthless, though, because your opponent isn't going to compete. He's just going to fast castle, right? Or he should fast castle. So what would work a lot better here is actually just additional spears. They're very cost efficient to get into rams. If you think about it, actually, it's a lot better than going mass archers if you're just trying to get rams quickly. Because by going spears, what you give yourself is more eco to work with, right? You gather from berries 35% faster. You don't gather from wood 35% faster. Instead, it looks like he's going away from spears entirely. So stables and archery ranges. This does at least give him a solution to Onabagisha as an early game counter. But this does also mean you can kind of lose to just horsemen. I guess the logic here is if Japan has to invest in horsemen, you're kind of already winning. Because that is a very expensive comp to go. And oh. Oh, hello. Where have you been all my life? We've got a feudal Yumiya. Really just want to get this out of the way, by the way. I hate this Kura Storehouse placement. I can't defend these type of placements. Especially when you're going Yumi. You should have the Kura on the tree line. Right? Like, the worst part still isn't just the fact that you're not actually saving 50 wood here for a Yumi build. It's also that your farms are setting up on the west side, which means that they are out of range of your TC. So in the event that you lose the initial fight, you then lose the ability to gather on farms. And worse still, your opponent can just sit there burning the farms down, and then you just like get no farms ever. So yeah, always keep note of this, folks. It's a really important detail. It's kind of like Madrissas and how you will rarely ever place a Madrissa on the west side of your TC because it puts the berry gathering away from garrison. It's the same with Kura, where Kuras should always aim to be placed on the right side of a town center. Idle out on the gold, so we are definitely committed to the feudal age. So all of a sudden, the horseman choice actually works out really nicely. It's a good thing he didn't go for the racks, right? Otherwise, it would have felt pretty pitiful. You kind of like the placement. Yeah, but Recon, that's because you go out and you'd wall here, and then you'd wall here, and then you build 3 TCs. No, this is, trust me, this is exactly why this is a bad Kura Storehouse placement. So Recon, you've had 20 seconds to sit and think and see what happens to the farms. How do you feel about the Kura Storehouse placement now? I mean, in fairness to me, he has got horsemen coming to push this back, right? This is why I was kind of expecting 1 or 2 spearmen to maybe be added in. Like a 1-1-1 build, but it seems MSN just wants to brute force with mass horsemen. MSN. Yumi did get bait out of position. And, like, actually, this is evening out not too badly, right? He loses the 2 archers, but he idles out back there, and he should be able to get, what, 3 Yumi here if he's quick? In fact, he already killed another one down there, I believe. How much food does Teal have to work with here? Oh, guys, no, this is bad. This is really bad. He has 4 sheep. If MSN just times this right around the back, it can be over in 10. Because, like, Teal won't have any food, right? And if you're just scaling Yumi against Horseman Archers, you're going to lose. Like, you need the Horseman as well. Yeah, Teal is also a long way off from safety. He hasn't got Steeled Arrow yet. That's actually a big no-no. He can't gather gold, right? Like, he's got enough from reserve, but he has to choose between Undermesh or Steeled Arrow to even be competitive with the normal archers. Then on top of that, the other issue that's quite problematic here is that he's nowhere near the stone needed for the Uma. Uma with Horseman would let him contest. What I'm worried about is how this can trend is if he gets baited too hard into Horseman, MSN can just build a single camel and it kind of ruins you. All the farms are closer to the TC. The problem with this build, Recon, is like the moment you lose any semblance of map control, what happens is the first farm gets burnt down and you don't get additionals. Right? The reason this is working is actually because MSN went mass archers. But like MSN could have very easily like followed up with a ram play, right? And then you're in trouble. I just don't think it's worth it compared to saving the 50 wood for the lumber camp and having a safe, nice, tight placement of farms. I hope the macro isn't 2 TC. This should just be Daimyo, but you're right. Like, he's holding onto a lot of wood. That would kill him in this game. He's doing a good job of cutting reinforcements. That's going to at least reset MSN temporarily. The best thing MSN can do right now is get shivs out of the villages. There we go. Our boy knows. MSN has slowed down for the moment. Now, what MSN wants to do here is go for blacksmiths. Steel Dagger is huge here. Your opponent hasn't got undermesh. Your opponent's being greedy going 2 TC. Like, this is how you actually quickly kill a game. At 16, make that 17 archers. Steel Dagger is definitely worth it. Nice thing about Yuumi is if you ever do scale them high enough, you're easily able to obliterate Cav, by the way. Like, Yuumi are actually one of the #1 units that are making Cav look kind of bad. Because the movement speed means that Horsemen can't really stick on top of their targets. We have got the Bannerman coming in, by the way. It was Daimyo after all. I prefer this. Like, I think if Japan just goes 2 TC, the game's over. Archer's poking on the south side. Boot camp's about to kick in, though, so this is not a fight that Japan really wants to take. Yeah, I think boot camp especially makes this matchup impossible, right? Even Bannerman getting added in, but I just don't... I don't get this. You could add an Uma Bannerman, or you could add Steel Dagger. Steel Dagger is better, right? Because an Uma Bannerman gives you a 15% increase in damage. So it gives you 0.6. Steel Dagger gives you +1. It's just notably worse to go Bannerman here. Clash coming in. I mean, I guess he's more tanky, so there's at least that working for you, but against Horseman, he won't feel it. Oh boy, big idle time as well. Looks like he's going to be forced off the tree line. Oh, trying to get Mass Yuumi as well. Give me a reset here as MSN backs up. If we just see a blacksmith drop now. I mean, he's floating a bit of gold. I'd at least like to see bare minimum double broad axe. If you don't want to go for the blacksmith play here, at least maximize your wood output. An outpost drop now on the gold, so we are at least still going to start trending into techs. This is always a nice thing that Japan theoretically has to make them stronger in feudal, is that they already have a blacksmith at the beginning of the age, whereas other people have to wait, right? Because remember, your mining camp is your blacksmiths. Horseman spam is getting kind of ridiculous now. I know I keep tooting about the blacksmiths a lot, but it is actually a big deal. When you've got 10 plus horsemen and you're at a dive point, undermesh is huge here. All right, Recon, go back to the corner you came from. Like, garrisoning Bannerman inside a building should give +1 arrows as well. I'm sorry, do we want to extend that? So when you put it in like a castle, it should just give 15% more damage to a castle. No, don't encourage him, guys. You need to remember that like a TC has 8 base damage. And if you garrison it inside, it's going to increase that by 15%. That's pretty busted. Like, even the arrow slits and placements, that's pretty damn strong. It's only 8 base damage on the TC arrows. Not upgraded TC. Yeah, but like you're saying you're going to increase range damage by 15%, right? You remember the Shogun Castle, right? That's range damage. Horseman Clash coming in. Oh, this is not a fight this heel's ready for. Ram's going to move across on the outpost now. I mean, the Horseman, in theory, should carry this, but there is one small problem. He didn't get the blacksmiths! All right, wrap him up. Send him home. I can't believe this, man. It's crazy. MSM, if he just has undermesh here, this is an unlosable fight. Instead, the Steel Dagger really going the extra distance there. The Yuumi buff as well. All of it just stacking up. The Yuumi held because MSN screwed up. Like, there's no blacksmiths here still. He just realized it. Yeah. He knows now. Like, if he had this at 11 minutes, the game feels like it can't be lost, right? But all of a sudden, you've now given the breathing room here. Remember also, like long term, now with the Daimyo kicking in, these farms really start to kick up. I swear, people sleep on blacksmith techs way too often. It really does change the game like this. And you know, this is a little tip for people, like, because Japan usually gets seen as a bit of a complicated civ for low-level players, because it does seem a bit overwhelming. But one thing I always highlight that's really nice about playing Japan compared to any other civ, it's easier to fix your blacksmith issues when you forget your techs than any other civ, because you already have a blacksmith from the very get-go, right? I mean, it's crazy as well, because these aren't low-level players, but you see, even for a high-level player, how easy it is to forget something so fundamentally simple. Gathering on the backside here is really important. So the horseman will start idling up here. It could be a convincing fight for MSN next time. Undermesh is now coming through. This is actually not bad. The timing on losing the horseman here, it's not going to be apparent that Undermesh is in yet, which is really important. Scout is actually idling out a bunch of villages, funnily enough. So he's going to go down. The main wave now building up. We did see camel archers added in. This was kind of cool for the horseman detail. It doesn't really matter when your opponent doesn't have them, though. A steel arrow on the way. Oh. Oh, and Teal... Oh my god, dude. This is a game of forgetting blacksmith techs. Teal doesn't have undermesh. So the reason that allowed Teal to hold now very quickly might be eclipsed by the cousin of that reason as to how he loses. Teal doesn't have gold. He could, though. He literally could right here. There's not much reason to not be getting gold right now, right? I mean, I keep telling you guys, Yuumi are actually really good. People have been sleeping on Yuumi way too freaking long. Oh, good raid. Yeah, Teal needs some chip damage here, right? Like, he definitely took a big, heavy hit earlier on. And remember, your economy is already worse than the Abbasids. They got that tech right there. No, Yuumi are actually really good. Yuumi are really, really strong. Like, you have to look at Yuumi like a Zergling unit. How do you use Zerglings in StarCraft? You don't see, like, you know, these very 10 chunky, really premium units that say, I'm going to send 10 Zerglings in. You say, I'm going to send 30. Right? And then you don't even necessarily start off by going for the main fight. You go after their economy. You raid eco. That's how you use Yuumi. And they're very disposable as well because they're so cheap. It's pretty much Lob trying to stand their ground here, but the archer count way too high. This is the fight. This is how you do it. This should be the convincer. Undermesh making these horsemen substantially more tanky now. Archer's just sticking to the target as well. I mean, this is the problem for Yuumi, right? Like, Yuumi are very good raiding. They're very good aggro play units. They are not good defenders, though, because when you defend, you have to be capable of standing your ground. That is something that Yuumi do not want to do in this situation. Mass is going to reset. All horsemen were thrown away, but the lead is undeniable here. MSN, 57 archers to 26 Yuumi. This is how Yuumi look underpowered. The goal is to have these numbers the other way around. I think, like, the big issue in this game with this whole Yuumi play is why I was a little bit kind of weirded out at first is when your opponent goes archers plus horsemen, you have no way of raiding with Yuumi, right? Because you run into horsemen. If this was a different comp, a non-horseman comp, though, Yuumi would look busted. Because he could go after the pocket ecos on the berries. So this game is over. I just don't see the way. You can already see Teal was trying to save up for Castle, but he knows it as well. This truly is a matchup that feels like a nightmare for the Japanese. Yeah, MSN. You know, like you should have had Undermesh was still actually Undermesh just 2 minutes earlier, right? I think you end that game about like 4 or 5 minutes sooner. Like how long was it? Yeah, 5 minutes sooner. And the whole time I was like, he just needs blacksmiths. Why is he going in against them? Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially like, dude, if you're gonna add in double digits horsemen, you should have undermesh as a bare minimum, because that's when undermesh becomes worthwhile, right? Like, actually, I think with horsemen, undermesh becomes valuable even sooner than that. It's more like 7 horsemen. Undermesh is worth it. At what time do you reckon? In that game, I think you should have been. I think I called for blacksmiths as like a warning about it around 9 minutes, but by 11 minutes, you should have blacksmith complete and undermesh starting to be researched. Because so in this game, you took the fight. It was here, right? Yeah, yeah. That was that. I think that was the fight, right? So that was 11 minutes. You probably could have prepped blacksmith here. Like you have such a substantial lead at this stage. Because like it's very easy when someone does a 1 TC Yumi feudal age build, all you have to do is get undermesh. It's the easiest win in the world. Like that's why Yumi look trash right now, is because people keep trying to do these feudal Yumi builds. Yumi as a fighting mechanism in feudal is bad. Yumi as a fighting mechanism in castle is good. Yumi as a raiding mechanism in feudal is good. Our 1 TC all in is no joke. Yeah, eco's strong, right? Like the berry gathering rate's kind of nutty, then the golden age really kicks you up a notch. It is very powerful. Wait, someone corrected what? Oh, what? Is Recon still obsessed with the Yumi injustice? It's not that Yumi are bad per se. It's that they take forever to get them to a point where you can use them effectively. I don't think it's the daimyo that's a problem at all, actually, with them. It's the production rates. That's the only problem with Yumi. It's getting enough of them out. But like, if you buff their production rates, you're gonna have to nerf Yorishiras because they're broken with Yorishiras. Maybe a cool way of adjusting Yumi is making archery ranges 100 wood instead of 150. I think that would be very intriguing. Well, thank you, Jar Man. Appreciate the compliment, buddy. Glad you're enjoying it. You prioritize boot camp before blacksmith. Do you agree? No, not in that game. Because in that game, you're using horsemen very heavily, right? At the point where you get boot camp, you almost I think you spent more on horsemen than you spent on archers at that point. So like if you get undermesh, your effective HP increase applies to your whole army. But if you get boot camp, it only applies to half your army, right? If you were just going raw archers, yes, boot camp. But well, actually, no. Actually, even then, so like do the maths on this quickly. Just think about the maths for a sec. Because the maths that you're going to apply there is that a unit has 70 health, right? If you get +1 armor, on average, the units that you're deflecting there with the undermesh they're going to be reduced down to 5 damage, right? So a unit can take 14 extra damage, whereas with boot camp you get 10% more health, 15% more health, which gives you an extra 10, right? So you're actually mathematically you're getting more effective HP out of undermesh than you are out of boot camp, even with just archers. At least if you're against like archers on the other side, for example. Yeah, I think like either way, blacksmiths is better. Need to invest 150 to a blacksmiths? Well, sure, but like military boot camp is 175, right? Yeah. So like you're paying 175. So like, you build a blacksmith, so you've already saved. Then you got 25 more to spend. But then like for the effective HP increase we're talking about, you're spending an extra 150. That's pretty worth. Because then you're already prepped to go Steel Arrow straight away afterwards, which is even better. Like that 1-2 punch is really, really strong. Right? I think like boot camp comes around 30 archers is when it's okay. You can get it before that in some situations, but like, yeah, especially like considering most games you're going to leverage horsemen, it just doesn't make sense to ever go anything but blacksmiths first. trying to think if there's any other situation where you do boot camp that early. I mean, there's not many matchups now where you really build spears, right? It's typically Archer's Horseman is, I feel like 8 out of 10 matchups, Archer Horseman is the comp, right? And if that's the comp, you like even here's another thought. Like you added 2 Camel Archers as well, right? Like the Camel Archers are going to benefit so much against Yuumi from Undermesh, so it's even more justified. Wait, what? A chat replay review or something? I mean, dude, I do this all the time. We done this with Recon's games the other day. I like to help. Speaking of which, my trash panda is searching. Poogers? Do we wait for Recon to pop? And then we don't stop. Yeah, believe it or not, I discuss these things with quite a few players, actually. I still kind of chuckle about it a bit. Like, why do they want to listen to me? You search too long? Reset the search, dude. What the hell? You and MSN just need to queue at the same time. Wait. They're in lobby. Recon versus MSN. That would be good. So we're not getting you 2 matchup? Boo. Boo. Why don't you do some... Oh, you got Tracker. This guy's a bit funky. Why didn't you do like some scrims? You guys could do some like some Cracky games. Don't you need to do some practice, Recon? Isn't there a certain madman you have to take on soon? You're against Recon? Against Vortex rather? Is it Vortex? Yep. I remember my groups well. Go get some Cracky in, mate. So let's see. Recon got Tracker. Who did MSN get? You give up. Dude, why are you giving up? Vortex is not... Like, I don't think Vortex is in good shape. If I'm being totally honest. You can take him. ML bullies you? Dude, why are you getting bullied by ML? You know, like, dude... You know you can't even hear the smack talk that Marine Lord gives you if you don't, like, tilt your head downwards, right? Because you know how, like, they say the directional audio thing? He's so far down there, like, if you don't look down, you can't hear him. Just look straight like this and you won't hear him. Be like, you won't know what he's saying. That's true. Marine Lord is such a wholesome guy. Uwu. He bullies you in game. That's because, dude, that's because you give him too much credit. I've told you this before. I've watched your replays against Marine Lord. You play so different against him than you would against Random Joe on the ladder. It's not just the skill difference against Random Joe. Like, you're actually, like, you do just handcuff yourself a lot. MSN, what do you guys want? You guys want Recon versus Tracker, or do you want MSN versus Hung ADC? Hung's got some funky builds. I mean, yeah, dude, I'm not saying he doesn't play good. I think you just get, like, you let that come into your mind too much. Dude, you do the exact same thing with Mister. Right? You actually do. Like, come on, I know you do. Because I've listened to the way you talk about him. You know, like, half the battle, like, there's respecting your opponent, and then there's just assuming you can't win him. Right? If you get into a series you don't think you can beat a person, then you're not going to beat them, right? You proved that when there was that hidden cup, and you just, like, crotch stomped the crap out of Lucifer like it was nothing. Like, when it got revealed that you faced Lucifer, like, wait, you lost? Wait, which one did you win then? I remember someone was telling me you won one of them. Like, I remember which one of them you won. It was really convincing. Which one was it you won? I'm getting them mixed up. It wasn't Lucy. You won one game. You kicked the crap out of him, though. You gotta have some confidence, my friend. You want Marlene versus Bassets. What was Marlians? You lost 3-1? Yeah. I mean, you know, you took a game off him. Was that in the Hidden Cup thing? I only caught the Marlene Bassett game. Yeah. You beat his ass in that game. But no, I think, like, I mean, this is the thing. You gotta find that confidence. You know, gotta believe you can be the best. I do think you play different. Like, Kazva had this exact same issue, and it's a shame he never overcame it, because if he did, he would have been a top 8 player in AoE4. Easily. It's like, you remember him, right? Like, him on the ladder, he was a freaking monster. The crap he done was like, what the f am I watching? But then you'd watch him in competitive, and it was like you're watching a completely different person. You had a good win rate versus him? Yeah, I mean, sometimes. All I'll say is when he won against you, those were probably the most memorable games. I still remember that. I still quote it to this day, that Mongolian Heights game where he Kremlin rushed. Oh. Yeah, I think you just need to, like, I think you need to play your game, understand what, like, your opponent is doing, and try to, you know, analyze and adjust, right? But be careful of, like, the thought creep in your mind. It's like, oh, yes, Marine Lord, he'd never make that mistake. Like, you'd be surprised the mistakes that some of the best players make. It's kind of like it's the poker logic, like the best poker players in the world, and you just cover the bluff, the tell. That's easy. Maybe they eat an Oreo at the table. I'm not saying this to beat you down, by the way. I'm trying to like rile you up the right way. I know Mister would be like saying the exact same thing if he wasn't busy, you know, making bank and hold $1 as a farmer right now, because he thinks the same that I do. We always have to cheer you on, but dude, like you shouldn't need cheering on. You're capable. You're a smart cookie. Right then, it's time for the Tracker going up against the Tracker Boy. Welcome back to the AoE4 action, folks. We've got Recon, our trash panda, on the Byzantines going up against Tracker on the HRE. So, real Roman Empire versus the one that you guys all think is the real Roman Empire. Yeah, Recon's been pretty spicy on the Byzantines though, right? Like, guy hasn't been as active as actually, like, almost every single one of the top 16 players in the game right now. And yet he comes in at a time when Byzantines is being played up the wazoo and innovates them in a way that other people just don't think. So yeah, pretty fun to actually see this. I'm wondering if maybe he's got some more experimentation in mind. We are just ahead of the second weekend of a major tournament, where he's going to be playing again, this time against Vortex. So I imagine Recon is going to be leaning on these ideas of more aggressive playstyles. I think whenever you're looking at a showdown with Vortex, thinking straight away, I'm going to have to defend, is a quick way of losing a game. It's always easier to kind of make mistakes in a defensive position, I feel. Like, you think it would be harder because you've got the safety net of, like, the TC or whatnot. But at the highest level, like, the aggro party tends to be favored, right? Because they have map control, they can play under pocket resources, they can deny things like your gold, your wood, and they can take options away. And if Recon wants to actually be able to beat Vortex, to keep his chances of making playoffs alive, he needs to prove that he can always be the guy setting the tempo here. What true Roman would enjoy olive oil? I mean, I don't know, dog. I'd say there's quite a lot of Romans that quite like their olive oil. Grand Winery coming in now for that exact reason? Wait, yeah, okay. I was about to say, please do not do Hippodrome in this matchup. Hippodrome is kind of a death sentence against HRE. The problem is marching drills. Like, you never get a good target with your horsemen. And spearmen chase you down really too quickly, so much better just to get the extra lombos as the backbone of your formation. It's still a bit dicey. I wonder if potentially we see jabs instead. Usually your lombos here, because once you're past the feudal age, the comp feels really good, right? Like going Varangian plus Lanceneck, really nice. But the feudal age is hard, man. If you get bogged down, lombos get annihilated by marching drill archers. And yeah, this spawn is pretty nice. He has got the fourth spawn in gold, though. That tree line is insanely tight, however. For the most, he has a pretty defensive setup. Like, he actually could just concentrate defenses on the south side and have every resource he needs. Like, the north side of this base is kind of irrelevant. All you need to really do is set up a short wall here with a palisade, and you're safe as can be. That, on the other hand, does not look pretty. Tracker is going fast castle. Yeah, he's not even being subtle about it. Interesting. So what is Recon's reaction to this going to be then? Because I don't think you can just fast castle yourself, right? Like, Byzantines have a fairly competitive time with the boosted eco, but it's still eclipsed by the ridiculous power that is the HRE. Keshik's in the fast castle? Keshik's isn't a bad idea. I mean, you can just rely on Varangian upon a tech up instead, right? Like, actually, what I've been surprised by more recently, in the last few months, when I've been watching Byzantine HRE reach Castle and Beyond, you'd think that HRE is favored with two-handed bases, as well as the, you know, the extra eco behind them, but I actually think Varangian spam has been kicking the crap out of them, which is still just a shocker to me after all this time. You want to check the mercs? Nah, Recon's not going to leverage that. It would have been Musafadi. It would have been Knights. Like, he's not that type of player that leans into that right now. It's kind of crazy as well, because he's usually quite a creative player. And you can't do it easily in this matchup either, with the neutral trade post being so far away, and the fact that you're up against a marching drill civ, it's kind of a death sentence to even go for it. Musafadi a great against HRE? No, Musafadi are actually a bait against HRE. There's a lot of things that sound like they'd be broken in merc form, but then you have to remember that scaling them is the problem, right? It's why French Knights actually haven't performed that well when we've seen them, par, I think, one Cracky game where he was 50 minutes in. The issue is just spam, right? Like, you know, the whole idea of Musafadi itself, that is a spam comp. And you don't have the olive oil in the early mid-game to get spam online. That's why Lombos are so good. That's why Javelins are so good. Because they are units that will not die easily in a fight, right? They're the last thing to fall. So you throw the spam at the front line for them, and they milk the fight, and you can just keep scaling their numbers. It's why, actually, in general, most melee-type mercs don't come out until mid-late game. I think the one exception we've seen so far is Sipahi, and that's because Sipahi are horsemen, right? So they don't have to take a bad fight. They can always back away. Stage is definitely on the way, though. And Recon looks like he is going to be going into the Limitane. With the Western contract. I mean, he might be able to block some relics here, right? Like, the logical opening play, this is a traditional fast castle build for the HRE, so we should be looking at a play straight away into a stables drop. Usually you can go quite quickly into 2. There's even some builds that allow for 3, but I don't think this is the one. This is just too fast of a castle for that. 7 now building it up. So with this in mind, does Recon just try to send it at him? There are some civs that you can ultimately punish so simply for fast castle. HRE is still one of those more kind of snaky ones. And the reason is that they just have a good enough economy at home to inflate into good military very quickly, right? Other civs trying to fast castle like this, by the time they're doing it, you probably have, you know, 10 Lombos at least, you have 10 Limitane, and you're already halfway to their base. That's the difference with HRE. 40% buffed economy does this. Now, the negatives is if Tracker has to rely on someone like Archers to defend, his eco line is very inefficient for wood gathering. Yeah, not just E-repairs is busted, the emplacements are busted as well. Eco now on the way though, so Tracker is going to start to feel the pressure. Did he miscalibrate this? The wood gathering is underway, so he should get enough for a single production building, but one production building of his own shouldn't be good enough here. Yeah, because with it being Lombos, if you say, for example, go Men-at-Arms, you choose 1 racks, slow to pump up the units, and on top of that, you wouldn't have undermesh, right? This group aren't going to arrive now. Gold is actually idleable. I don't think it really matters here. Like, Recon needs to be targeting that wood. In fact, he sees all these workers, right? No, he sent the scout off to look for more sheep. What? I hope this was to actually scout out the relics, but it's kind of crazy now that he doesn't have this on the forward. So it looks like Recon is just going for the tech up. The problem right now is he's not in a position to necessarily stop relic grabbing, though. I mean, knowing where the relics are here, you'd expect him to sit on the west side of this tree line. Because you can camp the east with some Lemitane and then sit in the west, right? In fairness, it is at least keeping track on the base for a moment, but looks like he has snuck out. I'm still confused by the scout. I actually think that Traco has been given a free breakout. It's wild because if Recon just keeps cycling back and forth on each side of the base, he has a very good chance of just starving relics away from his opponent, which is really important in this matchup because once you do reach castle yourself, not only do you have a very strong Varangian flood, but you have a way of flooding monks out into the field yourself. Sad first relic grad. 2 men-at-arms so far. Ooh, please do not build more than 2 more. So please definitely do not build more than 3 more. If he queues up 1 more men-at-arms, he will not have enough for veterancy. There we go. So he just min-max it. Wait, did he cancel something else? What happened to his gold? Alright. Looks like he's going to get back out there anyway. Golden Horn Tower now on the way. Oh, Prelate did get found though. Yeah, this outpost is kind of annoying though. I don't think the Lombo can do it on his own, so he needs to get more troops there. And this could be really smart. If Traco now just pulls a Prelate to the west side, seeing this move, he gets another relic back home for free. Prelate. Ooh. Okay. That was good micro then. Recon will start stepping forward to stay in range for longer. So good blocker. Upgraded men-at-arms have now arrived though, so this should push him away, and that should be a relic grabbed from both sides. Recon is about to have 15 longbows, so sizable force to get into the veterancy quick with. One thing that Recon probably should be doing here is the Lemitane should be blocking on the retreat. They're more tanky, and they are more disposable than these longbows. They're just flat out running it. Oh, nice snipe there, Prelate. Does go down. So 1 relic now being banked. Gold trickle begins. Farm count is about to go up to 6, so should be a stable pump of men-at-arms. And this is where, instead of trying to aggro this directly with Varangian, Recon is just going to get the counter online before the mass gets too big. Crossbows being queued up. Interesting choice. I thought we'd be seeing Varangian. Looks like they are being laid in now. Veterancy also on the way, but I can clearly tell Recon has not switched Dialecticus. Yeah, people forget about this quite often. It might be he just doesn't see the rush for it and he'd prefer to have the Varangian spam a bit faster. Crossbows are starting to come out. So Traco needs to back away. This is a bad fight. Veteran CG just kicking as well, so it's about to be worse. Good timing as well, right? Monk now moving out. Traco doesn't see it. Oh, and I don't think he'll be able to get the central relic here. Whoops. Recon with the click straight towards it maneuver may actually find that backfiring as the Monk has been targeted. However, Tracker is throwing away a lot of men-at-arms here. I don't like this. He's buying time. He has got the central relic. This is looking like it's probably going to be a 2-3 split. Because there's too many men-at-arms dying here for you to maintain mid-map control, right? That being said, the Prelate, the timing here... I mean, Trackle could just make this a 4-relic game. Because right now, Recon is not peeling troops to go to the west. So the move here is going to be to go down the center and then wrap around on the west. So there's kind of a game of cat and mouse to be had here. Recon needs to make sure this is not a 4-relic game, because if it is, there's a hunker down from Trackle that leads to Imp. Ambitious little crossbow. Yeah, not really sure what the obsession with the house out here is. I guess he just wants to see if there's flank raids, but he shouldn't really care when he's walled in like this. Recon has at least revealed his forces here. So this is where Trackle probably just wants to just slow down a bit. Maybe go really far west and wait until he sees a move away to the east. Because otherwise, you're just going to feed the relic over. And yeah, he agrees. Tracker pulls it back. This is really good, actually, for blue right now. Recon has got more Lombos on the way, and we have got the olive groves layered around the winery now. Going through. We haven't got the big boy emplacements here, folks. We've only got arrow slits and nothing else. Sprills are now on the way. I don't know if that's going to be quick enough. Oh, misclick there by Trackle, sending way too many over to the outposts. Sprue emplacement's going to come in, right? Like, you won't be able to burn this down due to E-repairs. Lombos are going to dive in for the eco, though. Siphon being built. No time to waste, says Recon. We got to go fast. This is kind of cool, though, because he doesn't have a relic inside. The Siphon is the solid answer, because you can't do more than 1 damage per shot. E-repairs is going to be triggered, but at this stage, you just Clown Car inside, right? No, Recon is still going deeper. Mention repairs is running out soon. Lombos are going to dive past. Like, dude, just jump inside the Siphon. I don't think you need to overcomplicate this. Villagers are going to come out now. If you're going to get sniped down. Recon, he's found his timing. Undermesh also on the way. Siphon is going to start being targeted, but these men-at-arms are not quick enough, so the outpost is not going to survive. That's a big loss as well, because that's the protection for the farmlands. Siphon does just enough before being flopped. The farms at the back might be safe, but pretty much all the ones being buffed by the Archon are now at risk. Yeah, even with E-repairs, I notice people complaining about it, but even with E-repairs, like this game, can you really complain about HRE, or should you be complaining about the Byzantines, right? Like, this is the thing. Because he looks pretty slapped and done right now. I don't think Tracker has much in him. Food income is absolutely pitiful at this stage. And this is crazy. He did get the 4th relic home. I just don't think it matters. Repairs has come off cooldown at least. Unfortunately, this is not the Sprune emplacement. If it was the Sprune emplacement, he'd be doing extra damage past the 50 armor, right? So he'd kind of kill the Siphon off slowly. This situation, he's not going to do anything. And Lansk also in the mixer. Repairs is going to get triggered. It's kind of dumb that Recon can just sit here, but I mean, this is the power, right? Byzantine economy this strong at this stage with the system effect and the olive oil. And on top of that, the production speed allows him to keep numbers higher. Goes for the dive. Trackle, it's the cardinal sin these days. No wheelbarrow. Oh, he's starting to regret that. 16 eco kills. I can't help but feel this game is most definitely done at this stage. The fact he's just standing underneath this outpost like it's nothing. But then again, it's not a Springald, right? Like, I think if it was a Springald, that would have reset the game. But Trackle's investment into an arrow slit so early, I think, hurt him here. Knee repairs won't come off cooldown in time, so he'll just wave the white flag. Good timing by Recon there. Looked a bit shaky in that early game. The fact it was 4 relics looked good for a moment, but love the fact that he realized relics only matter if given space and time. Whew. Man, Byzantine timing is kind of dirty. Oh, what do we name those games? If he gets Blacksmith Techs against Yumi. Feel Yumi OP? I don't know. What do I call that one? And then Alright, there we go. Easy win. And then that one. I don't know if that one's uploadable or not. I'm wondering. That eat your fried chicken? It's finger licking good, my friend. Just like your mom. Ayo. Yeah, Byzantines just have a ridiculous number of things working for them. Alright, have they synced up? No, MSN's gone off. Coward. So I like fried chicken. I don't like bone chicken, though. It just seems greasy and weird to me. You know? This is a family stream. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm your daddy. Okay, I'm going to start now. So what do we call that one? I mean, that one's kind of intriguing for the timing, right? Fast Castle is so 2023. Naked Fast Castle is becoming a thing of the past. Sup, Nerazor? I'm not doing too bad, buddy. How about you? Is the con man in yet? Who's he gonna get? There's no way there's no one else in like the top 150 queuing right now, right? That would be cringe. And we were not cringe. Okay, maybe a bit. Suck on these walls. Oh, God. So Rulin's already in the game, so you're not getting him. Hung's already in the game versus Myriad. You're not getting him. I would watch it, but it's just usually Mirror. And I like not falling asleep. Yeah. Yeah, well, Recon, I was saying about this before. The reason why it does that is because a while ago, they merged the servers for AoE 2 and AoE 4. Because AoE 4 servers used to be stored on Relic servers, right? But they migrated them. That's how you can tell they migrated them, because like the AoE 2 people show up in the menus for 4. It'll probably be the same when Mythology comes out as well. So that'll be fun. I'll be like, oh my god, look, Recon, here he is. He's going to play a game in AoE4. Okay, he's on Mythology. Gandalf the go, okay. Not give you a game yet? My little trashing panda? Get into 5 minutes. I mean, dude, like, yeah, like this is rookie numbers. I still feel bad for my boy Wagamama. I still remember the clips on Dirt 2 of him having like a 3-hour queue time. That was rough. Oh, I'm against Smurfing, but I actually understood why he had to Smurf in that situation. Oh. 5 minutes the reset point. If you queue longer, you get silver players. Nice. You found a game straight away afterwards. Dude, the matchmaking is so weird. It's so abnormal the way it's been coded. Oh, let's put the music on, actually. The good vibes. Dude, it's probably a good thing I'm not doing a long stream today, actually. My head hurts. Got a weird-ass headache that keeps coming. A Bassett versus Chinese? Well, luckily, this isn't just a TC boom anymore. Is it alright to co-shame these days? Yeah, 100% dude. I mean, Relic knew what they were doing when they were developing this game. Well, actually, no, that's the... Sorry, I should probably word that. I don't know if they knew what they were doing, but they knew what they were doing, which is they were basically developing an engine, not for Age of Empires. They were developing an engine for Company of Heroes. So we shame. We always shame. Still actually very salty about that detail. I don't know. I don't know who wrote up that contract. All I'll say is that I can't believe that contract was allowed. Wait, is the map gen going to be that cringe? Oh, this would be a good one. Oh, Recon, why are we bothering with this crap? Let's just become Helldivers gamers. Wait, that's not cool anymore, right? Everyone hates Helldivers now. Crap. What do we play now, guys? Is it Mech Warrior 5? What is this? Huh, Mech Warrior looks kind of fun. What is everyone like moving on to now? What's the next thing? I've been playing some X Defiant. Actually, no. Me and my friends, we stopped like a week ago. I think it just takes too long to unlock anything in that game. And you know your guns are notably worse if you don't have the unlocks, which is sad. I have been playing some Overwatch, actually. It's so hard with this PC, though. I don't know. Like, I think I've got input lag with this PC. Really do need to get a new one. I also want to try some new mouses. I've been using a Razer Ultimate for ages, but sometimes it does feel a bit too big for my hand. Space Marines too? Dude, I used to rock Space Marines so hard. Overwatch? Gross? Whoa. Like, dude, the game is still decent. The microtransactions are egregious, but the game is decent. I like doing the like Genji parkour. It's fun. So I'm just gonna we've been on this whole like Helldivers sign-in issue thing. People are right to be annoyed, not because it required sign-in, but because they changed it after you purchased it. That's the issue. The issue shouldn't be sign-in. I think that's it's such a whiny, pointless thing. I hate it when we get into this. It's like this whole, oh, I only care about Steam. That's actually a bad thing. You're just actually creating a monopoly that only works right now because the guy in charge is a good guy. But when he dies, turfs over, or gets shifted out because he doesn't have a majority of the company anymore, good luck with that whole monopoly idea. Seemed like a good idea. But the bigger issue genuinely is that they implemented it after people had bought into the idea of Helldivers. If it had been there at the get-go, there shouldn't be any complaint. Soul Mask? I've never heard of that. What is Soul Mask? Let's have a look. Escaping a deadly sacrificial ritual. Oh, is this one of those like hide and seek type games? Oh no, it kind of looks like Ark. Huh. Intriguing. Bit of a weird art style though. There's an odd blur to a lot of this. I bet it's not one of those games that's like really poorly optimized. Like I have this one in Shrouded where you have to keep the game blurry because the frame rates are so bad. No microtransactions for Space Marine 2. I don't know if I like that. What I mean by that is I'm game for them to just make skins microtransactions. That's fine. I don't think that's a problem anyone should have. It's when it leaks into the fundamentals of gameplay. Like one of the big problems around Overwatch 2 is the fact that you have to buy the battle pass to get the newest hero. That's cringe. That's really bad. Reddit thread about Co getting an input lag reduction and coming to AoE. I mean, I'd be very careful to expect that to come to AoE anytime soon, though, right? because you've got branches of the engine and how it works and how it's being utilized. On top of that, you're talking about Relic that we don't even know if they're actually involved in the development anymore. We don't even know if they're contracted. They literally just switched hands to a new company, right? So for all we know, because the obligation to Microsoft, I don't know if that contract relationship was between Microsoft and Relic or Microsoft and Sega, right? Realistically, it's probably between Microsoft and Sega. So I don't know, man. I don't know if we'll get tech changes. Oh yeah. When people were reading about Steam when it first got created and then got used to it, right? Big issues requirement of PSN sign in for all people that can't get. Yeah. Well, no, it's part of that, but it is also after the fact, right? Because the after the fact introduction of the PSN sign in knocks into that issue of like I can't sign in because I'm in like the Philippines, right? Because people who bought from the Philippines weren't aware of this beforehand. Now they feel scammed. Whereas at least before it would have been like, well, this sucks. I would have really liked to play the game, but okay, I get it. All right, should we get ready to go? 1 second. Every fiber of your being is telling you to click off this video right now. You see Abbas's, you see Chinese, you want to cry, but hang in there, little kitty. Because this is a new dawn, a new era of Recon. He's not going to build 16 TCs. He's not going to camp in the corner. Not the Recon I know nowadays. This guy is all about pedal to the metal and looking for the kill. Which means that this should be quite the thrill to watch. We are going to be on Lipany of all maps. And, dude, I swear I see this spawn way too often. Good thing there's no Delhi in the game, otherwise it'd be a little bit dirty. I think what makes this matchup in particular interesting is what Chinese players started to realize is a Bassett free TC kind of slaps them around pretty hard. So just trying to TC boom on its own doesn't feel like great anymore. Add into the fact that a lot of Chinese players are now aiming for fast castle builds, and I think you got something spicy. And spicy as still is the fact that Recon just scouted the corner. Our trading Trash Panda is immediately online. Oh, this is going to be a fun game. Yeah, so this has some interesting implications, actually. Camel Archers might even be a possibility as this game goes deeper, which aren't bad to deal with like a Castle Rush Palace Guard play. I really do like Camel Archers whenever I see a trade build because you actually have the inflated economy to enable it. And that build got a little bit better recently because you guys remember when the Abbasses got the Fresh Foodstuffs buff, they also simultaneously got a buff to the cost of their Camel Archers going from 180 food down to 170. It's a little bit, but it definitely adds up. And the reason why you have to do Trade Wing to make that Camel Archer play even work, by the way, like you either have to have fishing or trade, because what you do with the trade, remember, is by going for the Trade Wing, you can get your hands on Grand Bazaar, and that'll give you the ability to return food as well as gold. Who are the most creative AoE for pro players this season? This season? I think Anatan might be the most creative player, actually. I'm trying to think if there's anyone that I felt as creative. Anatan and the Canadian bros, actually. Like, yeah, Anatan, Poppy Paw, and Wham are probably the most creatives. It's a bit hard to gauge Marine Lord's creativity because it's a bit more gated. You don't see as much of him. I would probably put him up there because I think, you know, some of the things that Poppy Paw and Wham probably discovered he had a hand in, as I know he scrims with Poppy Paw especially a lot. Outside that, Battletune has also had some very creative builds. Most notably around things like the Ottomans, I've been impressed. Actually, no, how could I forget Louis? Louis is definitely top 5. That Ottoman trade builds with the Fast Castle 2TC build was really intriguing. What do I think about Killjadi being B last week? To be expected, I'm just surprised it took 5 games. I think Killjadi struggles with B's playstyle a little. So that's that kind of, you know, that's a favorability towards B. But Killjadi's been putting in a lot more hours, and I think he's a better player right now. So Horseman now on the way. Yeah, this is the way the play usually begins, right? You go Horseman so you can guard the trade, and then you inflate into Camel Archers afterwards if need be. It's already going to work quite well because China is actually going into an archer range. Pink, we aren't sure of the exact identity of Pink, so if we look at the rankings, because Recon's in 27th place right now, right? Pink on the other side, I think he was he not like top 150? Okay, he fell down a bit. He's ranked 286th right now. He's played 62 games this season. And he's usually a team player. Were there any upsets last weekend? I don't think Anatime Vortex was an upset at all. I think the only surprise is it only took 3 games. Anyone who thinks that Vortex is playing better than Anatime right now, I'm sorry, no. Like, Anatan is genuinely a top 8 player right now. He's proven it time and time again to people as well. Like, you know, we had that smaller tournament the other weekend where he almost beat Wham. I think he beat Puppypaw in one of them as well. So yeah, people need to start waking up and realizing Anatan is like 2024's B. Everyone who's like, oh my god, B's so creative, and oh my god, B's like capable of taking down the top player. No, Anatan is that now. Guy's a superstar. Long distance trade now in effect. So pretty good payday here. 70 gold and 18 food each way. And we are seeing a feudal investment. So this is intriguing. You might be wondering, why does China not just go fast castle? Because the scaling point for the Abbasids will be too fast. Trade comes online way too quickly. If this was 2 TC Abbasids, you would definitely just go fast castle with China and then come in for a second TC on a delay. But because of this build, your hand's kind of forced. You have to do damage. Archer spears are going to arrive. More production needed here as Recon is prepping his own archers now. Like this with the Horsemen. Your goal here should be to cut reinforcements so they trickle across. You might even be able to pick Spearmen if your opponent's not paying attention. Good walls from Recon. Yeah, he's playing this right. I think you're safe there, but better safe than sorry, right? So he's got the walls on the flanks. And the reason why Pink is playing here instead of south side is if he plays south side, the issue you've got is your opponent can just go north side. But also, it puts you further away from your base, which means you can more easily just be outnumbered. And yeah, I heard a little bit about the Rising Empire's NA LAN. A little bit surprised they've got back-to-back LANs that quickly. I thought they'd actually wait to see how the first one went. But it's pretty cool to hear. I don't think I'll get invited to that. I mean, if they need someone, I literally have an I visa, so I can get into America quite easily. Arabian prep. Pink is going in hard and fast. I wonder, does Recon go for undermesh quite quickly here? He has got a lot of gold, which is why I think it's justified. Like, he should be able to get blacksmith text quite quick due to that detail. Recon needed the golden age, though. I think it just came online. Yeah, a few structures back. So this is where his eco starts to balance out a bit compared to the Chinese one. Like, the Chinese still have an edge with taxation, with the 20% supervision, but the 15% golden age does bring you a bit more in alignment here. Okay, wait. Does Pink know? I mean, I guess he's doing something right now, but this feels like such a wasted effort, man. Like, just go for a ram. He's holding so much resource in reserve here. The worry I have here is if this is meant to be fast castle now, then Recon can just target military wing, right? And composite bows will be perfect for the comp he's building. Yeah, kind of a scary plan actually coming out from Pink. And it seems that is where he's trending. With the outpost going up in the gold, there's no other reason you need to secure gold like this. This is Castle Age. I think Pink could actually be blocking the trade at this point, though. With this many spears, he doesn't know how big or small the horseman numbers are, though, right? He has to act as if the fleet of... Fleet? Yes, the fleet of ponies is unlimited in size, right? So he can't risk being too out of position. Unless we have actually got trade north side now. We did warn about it, right? It's the perfect spawn for it. So Recon, he's actually split the trade, but now he's sending it all north side. So 6 traders in total, more being produced. And Pink is now in completely the wrong location. And that I'm not a fan of. It's a Barbican drop coming out. So Pink isn't even thinking about castle anymore. Guys, this can end very quickly and very badly now for Pink. If he loses one fight, if he slips up, it's over. Bastard numbers are starting to inflate. Both sides prioritizing those ranged upgrades as you'd expect here. So Barbican will go up. I mean, it's difficult to get rid of, right? But like 3 Rams can just dent it down. I just don't think you necessarily need to care that much about the Barbican because it's not really threatening your real economy at all. The good news about the Barbican is it basically stops your opponent from aging up. It stops your opponent from going quickly to your base. I mean, I say it stops him from aging up. It really doesn't. Right? He's got backspawn and golds and he's got trade, which you know he's got trade. He's the least restricting options here, so maybe the play now can be wall here and then camp north side. Because that's really important at this stage, considering we're 7 traders deep. It's becoming quite a substantial amount of Recon's economy. Ram's now being built, so Recon is just going to try to brute force it. Good time for it. Military lead is quite noteworthy here. 35 archers to 16. That's actually the only detail that matters in these fights, by the way. The spearmen are completely irrelevant. There's only 4 horsemen on the other side. Behind this, the Castle Age is coming, though. However, it's coming for both players. And one big risk you run here if you're pink is that because of the fact you're going to have a forfeit ground when you go for your tech up, and the Barbican will be taken out as a result, Recon should be able to get his tech in before your army arrives. And that means composite bows and veterancy, right? That's the scary thing here. The trade wing second layer doesn't matter as much. Armored caravans is not really that crazy. But this is pretty nutty. Check this. Recon. He's going to lose a few traders. Spin marching in now. He does see them. In the meantime, double ram moving in. I don't like the way that Recon's diving this. These archers don't even need to be here. And wait, what? Oh my god, no. Are you kidding me? Pink. He saw the wall, but he didn't see the traders. He didn't even hang around with a small group of units to check if those trade. He just backs up. So Recon's getting away with this. That's a lot of gold to work with at the start of an age up now. And food. Barbican in the meantime is down. Yeah, this is wild, man. I mean, you say he doesn't know where the trade is. He does. He's already outposted and walled the south side. So he knows there has to be traders over here. There's really no excuse for Pink backing off like that. You leave at least a handful of archers here to intercept. Because now you are just behind on economy. Veterancy has been skewed up for Pink. He'll at least have that advantage first, but I'm worried now, right? Recon is prepping for a Gulen pump. His archer mass is going to keep value. And most of what Pink has built loses value now. It doesn't maintain it. Yeah, this has just been weirdly played by Pink. Palace Guard Flood can at least commence, but yeah, Palace Guard kind of feel like a negative in this particular matchup. Less armor against mass archers with composite bows, right? We did mention Recon's going to have to hunker down initially, but he might not have to hunker down for long. Tech up complete. Gulem's immediately queued up. Traders now shifting south side. Oh, wait. Are the traders seen? I think they are. Just about with the pathing. However, Pink can't afford to go down there right now. He's trying to dent the main base. Recon out to 11 traders. Boot camp did just come through. Composite bows should not be too far behind this. Yeah, you're right. Like, he actually hasn't... He looks like he should have, but yeah, he should know, right? Like, he knows about the south side trade post, and that gets mirrored on this map. I just think Pink has hard blundered this, man. The tricky trade is getting the freest trade game imaginable here. It feels like such an easy mistake to not make. I guess you could argue it's also an easy one that can slip through. Recon now just surging the Gulam numbers. More walls are at least coming in. I mean, it doesn't matter. That north side trade, right? Camel Riders also now let loose, remember, with the military wing tech up in castle. You do get 2 of these boys. At this stage in the game, it's a fair bet that China's got to be out on pocket eco. If they're not out on pocket eco, they're making a farm transition. Either way, it's an advantage for you. Blocker on the wall, so we'll not be able to get it up. Moving out now. Outpost does have hand cannons, though. So Recon is going to have to slow down a bit with that play. Almost 2 villages going down there. A lot of food on this right side to be secured now. I actually think Recon could afford to inflate his trade quicker at this stage in the game. Probably feels like he doesn't need more gold, but I think like you do train towards siege now, right? Would make a lot of sense. Like double mango pump here, you've got a big enough army to kind of blob and defend, and Compsabos means even Palace Guard are going to struggle to stop that. At this stage, I think you just go for a TC as China. Songs kept you competitive. A second TC will put you ahead. It will make you weaker initially. And finally, we do have a move onto the flank. So trade is about to be blocked. Recon, trying to go for a stone wall, but this is going to be slow. Wait, what are you doing? Whose side are you on? Oh, Ping. No, no. Guys, this has got to stop happening. He still doesn't know about the trade. Dude. This is like the... You know when you watch that movie and it's like... She's bagging the poor boy. And it's like, it's not even subtle, right? Like, they're just hands down each other's pants behind the table. Like, this is what this is right now. It's not even subtle that this trade is happening. Army's going to push him away before he can get in as well, so Wall is definitely going to go up in time. Second TC is now online the other side, so Pink is going to be able to scale that way. But I am a bit worried about the main fight here. To a certain degree, Compsabo archers counter everything that China's doing right now. Nestabees can at least alleviate that, but this is a Civ that can react with siege in the field. Military Academy also on the way, so Recon just looking for that swell point. Dude, I said this would be a quick game. Recon, I got Bouldering to get to in like 20 minutes. Can you, kind sir, can you please? Buckle down, boys and girls. We're going full trade. Pink starting to march south side. It's going to get intercepted. Guillem's to get in for a start of a good fight. Second wave is starting to arrive now, though. Nestabees could be big here. Bootcamp makes it difficult, though, and Recon already aware. Look at that micro. I love this. A staggered formation through and through to minimize the damage done. Crossbows, they're trying to deal with the Guillems. It just feels like they're wasting so much time on this. Meanwhile, the Palace Guard dying way too quickly. If it was 2 Nestabees, maybe, but 1 against Bootcamp Composite Archers does nothing here. Pink may have just lost the game. If Recon senses weakness here and dives for the Archers, he can idle everything. There's no farm transition behind this. There's no extra food. Nestabees is going to be taken out, so no siege either. That is it. Pink, army about to get wiped. This should be over. If Recon just keeps A-clicking now, there's no recovery point. It's too big of an army, right? Pink doesn't have any hold point here. 1 Nestabees won't do. A few Guillems still standing as well, which means if they ever touch the Nestabees, they immediately just get splintered. Oof. Food still being gathered on the flank is the thing that might give Pink one more reboom, but with no farm transition in sight, I'm worried. Nice spread out as well, Recon. The way he's simultaneously just sending it, but also walling himself in for permanent trade is quite comedial here. Surprising slowdown. I think Recon would really benefit from adding in a scout now. He has got stables, right? So kind of a cardinal sin at this stage in the game to not just have that extra vision. If you did, you'd know where your opponent's gathering, the state of the military. You'd understand just how much this game's in shambles for them. Love that Bloom is on the way, and we have actually got a Horseman switch upcoming. That's the only thing I'm not crazy about in this game. I don't think Horseman is your win condition. Guillem's Archers remains the good backbone to have. It does give him a way of dealing with the Nestabees in fairness, right? Like Horseman can wrap in, and snipe pretty quick. The only weird part to me is like farm count isn't that high, right? Yeah, he's got 5 farms total. Horseman is always a dicey subject to me because I find people just end up burning all of their food, limited food, way too quickly. And then after the first Horseman dump doesn't pay off, they have to pause for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes setting up farms rather. Coach wing on the way though. Pretty interesting that he didn't go for Eco Wing, considering farms do seem likely at this pacing. This tells me that Recon believes he can end the game in the first 3 minutes of him. He thinks there's going to be enough power behind a punch there. Because the logic is if it goes longer than that and you need to add in farms, it would have just been better to have had Eco Wing, right? Especially at that stage in the game where you're talking about the improved processing and the agriculture techs. What this tells you is that he sees a lot more value in POC for the 20% savings, which is pretty cool, right? Like, you know, you've already got at least 2 techs you want to get, probably a 3rd here because you've got Horseman as well. So that is going to save you 600 resources already there. Wow, thank you, Freya. That's your potty, yeah. Go use that maybe outside, not on Daddy's floor. Bye. Bye. I love how she always even closes the door. That I don't want closed because it's hot. Okay, so pink marching in. We still don't have a farm transition, right? Yeah, only 1 granary in. Check up about to complete. Bad news for pink because the walls are complete. We've got 1 tiny bit at the end, but that should be able to get up in time. Yeah, unfortunately for pink, the textiles guarantees that, so no break-in. I mean, I say unfortunately, he kind of messed this up. If he just Nesta Beast that, he would have been able to break through, but instead, it's going to be delay, and that means that Recon can be greedy about this. POC on the way, and then he can wait for elite techs afterwards. This is just an unnecessary imp max trade game now. Like, he actually can just end the game. I think he's having a bit too much fun with this. This does actually mean that China's going to get imp as well, which I don't like that he's even remotely allowing that. I mean, I guess the logic here, like if you actually go straight into uni, it's not too bad because you'll have your uni techs far ahead of China. But China's kind of dicey for that. They can mirror you, remember, because they have the ability to supervise. What civs are the best late game? Abbasids, HRE, China, Ottomans. I think I'd say those are the top ones. Byzantines kind of fell off. Rus, yeah, Rus is pretty good. Byzantines are overrated late game, though. Byzantines are more about Castle Age. The imp isn't as strong as people think. And then there's like situationals, right? Like if there's not much gold on the map, Japan's an interesting one because they can exploit gold ways that most civs can't, right? So tech out complete. It seems that's what Recon was waiting for here, is he's now making his move. Stone wall's not going to go up quick enough here, so there is an opening, and pink with only 4 Nesta Bees. Yes, I said only. Will it be enough to defend fast enough here? Can you march in? Shots from the side. Target on the Horseman instead. So he's going to try to peel around the flank. Nice splendid formation here. Recon just trying to minimize damage done. The Horsemen are going to ride in. Can they get through the Nesta Beast quick enough, though? I think with the extra health here, yes, they can. 7 ranged armor as well. The crossbow are not doing too much damage. But as soon as I say... Okay, come on. They don't even get 1. Colrun gets queued up by Recon. And he realizes Nesta Bees are kind of dumb. He's just going to go flank raiding now. That was an ambitious fight, admittedly, to walk into without any anti-siege whatsoever. Horseman numbers are now going to swell up. We mentioned this, right? Like, it was going to have a gap to it either way when he only has 19 farms. Recon making his way into the back farms here. Okay, so this is probably good news in Recon's eyes, is like he realizes the farms aren't fully set up, which means that pink can't afford to burn through too much food fast. Great micro as well. No, he's just, dude, he's just cycling around, villager by villager. No textiles makes it even simpler. One time achieved. So all of a sudden, a 30 eco lead now for Recon. And map shrinkage is becoming a big problem in this game. Also, remember, this was a Spirit Way game, not a Great Wall Gatehouse. There's no big strong point defense for Pink. Not even a Barbican. Not that that would really hold us back here. Because the Barbican's dead in the enemy base. So Recon now is just going to flood the field, right? Like, ironically, beating China at their own game, because at this stage, China's usually trying to max Palace Guard and then rush your economy. But with Max Horseman, he can just do that to the backline. And he has already got Biology Tech. This is a really good time for Recon. I love it as well. Check this. The remaining army baits the entire defense force out of position. So now the Horseman can ride in and go for the farms. I love that he stops for the relics on the way as well. It's like, whoa, whoa, can't have you have more gold. 2.6k being flowed is good enough. Watch it again, though. Elite Army Tactics also on the way. Mr. Bees. Biology really does make a big difference here. That plus 36, making it much harder to get the kills. Castle now being rushed up on the farms by Pink. Looks like Recon instead is just going to snipe Eco on the west side here. Horseman now peeling off to try and deal with the castle, but the army is quick enough. So yeah, Recon, I don't like the way that was approached. There's no need to go south here. You know where the farms are. You know where the enemy army is. You had enough time to hit that again. If you keep hitting the granaries, then there's no army that can be built, right? Castle is at least going to go up, so that's going to give a strong point defense here, but the Horseman number is getting bigger and bigger. And why am I... Did I really just see that? Oh my god. Okay, that's fantastic. Recon. The siege tower is like the stupidest, most pointless thing in Age of Empires 4. This should, in theory, work. It, in fact, does not. Okay, I'm just going to say it, man. Like, siege towers should give you an ability to steal walls. Because the reason why he can't get out now is it's locked. Like, he's stuck on the wall. So bad. I like how after all that effort, he's like, okay, just put a ram anyway. It was a cool idea, though, right? Because he would have gotten through here quick enough to kill a lot of economy off, considering that a quarter of China's eco is on the screen. And funnily enough, he could just send troops from the west side instead. That also works. Horseman now roaming around. Yeah, say hello, Frey Frey. Looks like he's going to find some pocket ecos. Oh, wow, this is actually a big one. If Recon sees it. Luckily for Pink, it looks like Recon's going to go dive to the west side instead. But if he rotates now south, I mean, that's going to do more than just send things south. Yeah, no protein works for you. Finds the gold as well. Okay, Recon, this game, I think Pink is in trouble now. He has got a lot of gold in reserve. That's not the big problem. The big problem is his army is struggling to be everywhere at once, right? He hasn't got Yuan Dynasty. He hasn't got the full stone wall in. His food income is under 2k. And the archers, they did finally get through. It took a while. Now they're in. And where do you really run here? You have to run back towards your base, right? Pink? Pink? No reactions. Okay, and now he's going to run deep, but there's nowhere to run, though. Rock in a hard place here, folks. Even if he gets out, that is still now, what, a quarter of what remains of his economy idle. This game looks over. It took a weird turn. It shouldn't have went this deep, but at this stage, I mean, Recon would have to truly throw the game. He's doing his classic overboom. If he just built, you know, quality units now, he could easily win. I think like Mangoes and a push in with Siege could work. I don't think you go hand cannoneers because the enemy can have hand cannoneers that are better. Trade is OP? No. Recon is OP. Recon trade is OP. keep drop now coming on the big gold. So he's just starving him out. This is really smart. Like, the best Chinese approach in late game is either Nesta Bees or hand cannoneers. Either of those cost substantial amounts of gold. And the Nesta Bees isn't reliable in this game either. Like, you're against Culverins, right? So hand cannoneers is really your only fallback plan. With the pyrotechnics, they are very powerful, but 120 gold a pop, it's not very easy to afford 40 of those. Yeah, I think the Chinese player had an opportunity to make Recon's life a living hell in the trade. But multiple times, you just kind of missed it. King doesn't quite realize just how done this game is, does he? Nesta B is going to march up, but now you have a corner. You barely have wood in the corner, you've only got food. He's going to be reduced to a sliver of Palace Guard compared to what he's trying to aim for here, right? Like, he wants to see 50, 60 Palace Guard. I just don't think that's going to happen. Horseman. Raid onto the farms. Still no textiles. I mean, I guess, what's the point in clothing your people when there's only 60 of them left, right? I want to remind people that while there's a second TC for the Ambassadors, this came very late in the game. This is mostly trade. And also one side losing 110 workers and one losing 5. Oh my god. I'm getting PTSD watching this, man. Rams being blew up on the flank are at least going to be scouted out. That's the one upside right now for Pink. Everything else is a big frown. Horsemen are going to move in on the villagers. Looks like the Palace Guard are finally going to catch up. Nesta B should be able to at least protect here, but worth once again. Like, at any given stage, it feels like Pink has a third of their remaining economy not working. And that remaining economy is getting smaller and smaller. And we now have mass camel riders coming. Which is also interesting because we can see that camel support is on the way. Camel support only matters if you have infantry, right? And right now, Recon doesn't have any infantry. It's kind of cool, though. Camel riders... Has he got the speed? No. So really want to get the armor, rather, for the camel rider bardings. And then also, should be... Is there anything else here that would help more? Is there a blacksmith tech I'm forgetting about? I swear there's a blacksmith tech I'm forgetting about. Yeah, right there. Camel handling. I was like, I know there's movement speed. Yeah, so I think he totally forgot about camel handling here. We've got eco Recon. He doesn't even need it. Recon, please just end your games. This should be it, though. 384 HP. This is really smart, right? Like, Horsemen kind of melt to mass Nesta Bees. Camel Riders are far too tanky. Dude, this is done. Camel Raid is actually OP. I mean, in fairness, at this stage, anything would look OP. And yeah, like Pink, well, it's part, right? I think Recon could have went to a comp like this sooner, or maybe like a static comp. But it is indeed Pink just being like, no, I can totally bring this game back. Have you seen China? They have all this food. Clearly, they took advantage of Protein Works' great offers right now. Anyway. Counts bad against Men-at-Arms. Who's got Men-at-Arms? Not this guy. GG gets cooled. Man, I swear, those secret traders. You're playing against Recon. The tricky trader. It's a nickname I gave him for a reason, but apparently people in China just haven't heard of that nickname because this guy treated Recon like an atypical Bassett player and paid the ultimate price. He doesn't know, dude. Seriously, I'm like, does he know who's facing? It's hardly a secret. Secret traders. How did he not see this? There we go. You're thinking, look what happens when people don't know it's me. Oh dear. See, this is what I was saying earlier, where you like, you know, you kind of react to the player not as much as like the situation. Is this another element? You're like, well, that's what people do to me when they block my trade. Oh man. Breaking down a wall that was blocking a blocked entrance. Yeah, dude. Like that was weird to me as well. I was like, I don't think he realizes. But then again, in fairness, you can't feign like feign innocence on this as if you didn't do it as well. You literally walled that area as well. I saw it. You're both as bad as each other. Oh dear. I don't know if I have enough time for another. Let me check. Because I'm meant to be going bouldering soon. Hadn't scouted, so there might have been a way in. He hadn't like fully scouted it either, I think. I think it could have made, like, I mean, the likely, like, I think from his vision, even if I didn't have God vision and see beforehand, I would have like, nah, you can't go through there. So yeah, it was a little bit funky overall. 1 second. Don't think I've been messaged. Quick predictions for the upcoming 20 games? Oh, we could do that. Dun, 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 dun. So let's have a look. I think I gave my predictions on it before, but I guess I can do it again. Oh. Let me know when you're on the way. Alright. So, let's quickly go through tournament predictions, guys. Whoop, whoop. Wait, that's the wrong thing. Okay, Master Realms weekend. We are going to be casting both days anyway. So now I'm going to just sound like a boss caster when I'm casting. But let's go through it. So, Marine Lord versus Louis MT. I actually think that could be a 5-game series. Most likely it's going to be a 3-1 for Marine Lord. Historically, he just has Louis MT's number. Louis exploits the late game really well. I just don't think that Marine Lord's going to let him get there in good shape. So, you know, Marine Lord definitely still the chimp in that one. Cat versus Dimmu, honestly, should just be a 3-0. Cat might cinch one game, but I think Cat just has some very big decisiveness issues. I don't think he seems to understand sometimes when he's ahead in games. From what I've been watching, there's quite often games where it's like, okay, you can end now. But it's more reminiscent of how people played in the opening year of AoE4, where it's like, oh, I think I've got the lead, but let's play it safe. You can't play like that anymore. Not against top 16 players, and Dimmu's definitely one of them. Like, he will sense that weakness and use it against you. I also just think, you know, Dimmu, the scrim games I've been seeing, he's got some really cool builds and executions on some of these maps, like moving out. Killjoy versus Beasty. Beasty is Killjadi's kryptonite. Beasty is a defender and he thrives on it, right? And Killjadi is an all-inner, sometimes to a fault. I think that could end up being his undoing. And you know, Killjadi, he has evolved his play, has improved a lot, but I think his fundamental game style, I haven't seen enough adaptation to say that I would favor him against Beasty. I feel like I would be impressed if he takes a game from... What was that? If he takes a game from Beasty, I'd be impressed. Still stream it, so let me know. Yeah. So, is there only one game in the last week? I think so. I'm not sure though. But so I'd have to double check. Yeah, I think so. June 15th. No, it's June 15th and then June 16th. And then final weekend is 22nd, 23rd. But let's get through these quickly because I think I'm going to be going bouldering soon. Zerton versus B is going to be an interesting one. B is going to have to play very aggressive and very fast. If he's too slow or too idle about it, Zerton will take advantage of that. Zerton has this really interesting talent as a player in the mid-late game to kind of re-scoop lost games, and I'm always kind of dumbfounded by it. So I think this one will probably be... Considering what B done to Killjadi, this should be probably 3-1. I just think the issue with Zertan is like he has these really cool mid-late games. I just don't see them getting there if B is able to execute like this against Killjadi. Puppy Paw versus Anatan, that is going to be a 5-game series, guys. That is actually going to be probably the closest game, the closest series of the entire group stage. I would not be surprised if Anatan ekes out a slight advantage, but Puppy Paw should still be favored. Puppy Paw 3-2, potential for 3-1 because I think Puppy Paw plays a bit better. And they were doing a play all 16 just last week. And I think the outcome was 10 games, Puppy Paw, 6 to Anatan. So Anno still has some capability there. Recon versus Vortex. If Recon actually plays with a little bit of aggro, a little bit of confidence, I genuinely think Recon can beat Vortex there. Especially on the current map pool. Like, what? Like, things to avoid. Obviously, Holy Island is a bit dicey. I know Recon thinks this is his strength, but it's historically always been Vortex's. Archipelago doesn't feel great either. Outside that, I'd say Four Lakes could be really good. Yeah, I think you pick Four Lakes if you're a Recon. Four Lakes could be really good. Kawasan could possibly work as well. Chaos maps, I actually think you lean Floodplain because I don't think Vortex has been practicing that much at all. Well, yeah, I'll get off. I'll literally stop streaming when it's coming. Yeah, tell him I'll stop the stream when he's on the way. Like, yeah. Anyway, so which is what I said already on the messages. Anyway, so I'd say Recon has a decent shot against Vortex. The first 2 games will be very telling. Like, you know, I said, Recon's a very smart cookie. He just kind of needs to not let Vortex get in his head. Arceus could literally have any scoreline. No idea how good Vortex is at the moment. Yeah, that's the other thing. I do know you won't. Yeah, you will not get to trade. You can use that against him though. Like, this is perceived value logic. Like, if you're expected to be a tradey boy on something like Woodwall, and then you set up a trap for him to walk into, that can actually backfire on Vortex. So that game, if Recon, I actually think Recon can get that like 3-1 or 3-2. Lucifron versus Wham is going to be a very intriguing one to me. Lucifron turned up against CSO. That first game was really weird from Lucy, but CSO dropped the ball hard. Game 2 was just domination, as I expected from Shuji. The rest of the series, just like Lucifron's execution was really on point. I was impressed. So I think this series could actually go 5 games as well. I'd still lean in favor of Wham. I just think the Canadian bros are playing better than the Spanish bros right now. But once again, like, you know, that could be a 5-game series. And CSO versus Baltoon, with the mistakes I saw CSO make recently in his series against Lucifron, I actually think Baltoon should take that either 3-0 or 3-1. Okay, 10 minutes we've got. So yeah, Baltoon should win that one out. So that would bring us to what? Marine Lord would already be qualified at that stage, so you'd end up with Louis MT versus Dimu as a decider match. Louis' playstyle against Dimu just kind of completely unravels him. Dimu can be good at playing these fast tempos, but he seems to lean more into the mid game, and I think that is something that Louis is very good at exploiting. And we've seen in some matchups, Louis isn't afraid to come out swinging the first 10 minutes anyway. So, you know, expect Marine Lord Louis to be the ones making out of the groups. That would then lead you to, what, Killjadi versus B, we said? I'd expect a cleaner result than 3-2 from Killjadi next time, so probably 3-1. Just because B, there are probably less tricks he can just unravel, surprisingly, to Killjadi's shock. So expect Beasty Killjadi to make it out there. Then you're going to have, what I said, Anatan probably should, I'd say it's like, that matchup is 60 or 55% Puppy Paw favored. And then up against, what, Vortex? I know Vortex rematch, probably 3-1. I think Vortex will learn some lessons, but also fail in some other areas. I actually think Anatan has the scariest Byzantines at the moment, by the way, because of these really crafty neutral trade post builds. Then finally, you're going to have, what, Lucifron versus Baltoon? Oh, sorry, no, it'd be Anatan versus Recon that I was talking about, right? Yeah, sorry. Anatan versus Recon. So in that case, Anatan versus Recon, ooh, that's going to be tricky for Recon. Because I think Anatan, like, he is on another level right now. I think Anno is much harder to beat than Vortex and less predictable. He's more kind of wild. Because he's got good aggro, but his strategies are really funky. So Recon's going to have to hunker down, do a lot of research to be in with a chance against that. And then finally, you've got Wham versus... Sorry, Lucifron versus Baltoon. Baltoon has some potential there. I actually wouldn't write him off. Remember, he took a very convincing game against Wham. He almost took 2. So I would say like that series could end up going 5. Baltoon has some very creative openings. It just comes down to, I think, the draft more than anything else. Baltoon has a very creative approach to drafts. I've seen he leans into Ottomans a lot more than other players, but that can be a negative. Like, I don't think Ottomans are that high value of a pick unless you're drafting something like Hill and Dale, but that does make you quite predictable, right? Lucifron will try to play the more aggro party there, but Baltoon isn't a stranger to doing that, right? That this guy is a AoE 1 legend. He knows how to spill some blood. So yeah, if you guys do want to catch those games, they will be kicking off at the standard time tomorrow and Sunday. I will be casting both days, so I'll be casting with Winston on one of them and Lidicor on the other. Should be a bunch of hype series either way. But that in mind, I'm going to get ready to raid someone because my lift for bouldering should be coming along in a few minutes. So let me see who's online and who we can raid. I'm going to, like I said, I'll try to set up, I don't know if I have time this weekend, but definitely after I get back from London for the weekend, the week afterwards. I'll try and start setting up a schedule that I post on Discord, Twitter, and maybe I'll link it somewhere here on Twitch so you guys know exactly when I'm going to be live each day. So, wait, what's this? Who's better, Divine or G-Way? I think G-Way's fallen off a little bit. And yeah, Divine's missing as well. G-Way, the problem with G-Way is he's really, really good at his early mid-game execution. He has some really cool all-ins. What usually fails him is his macro, which is a really big negative in a game, an RTS that is fixated around macro. Right? Like, I actually think AoE 4 is a macro RTS, not a micro RTS. But yeah, like, G-Way, I think you're right. Like, Divine has disappeared. Blade, I don't know what the hell happened to Blade. So yeah, that does just kind of give you anxiety. So it comes down to who's better, Give You Anxiety or Faye. And considering Faye beat Chugo New Spam with Onimusha, Faye is the champion. GG. Nugify? That's true. Nugify has been creeping up, man. Need to see if he can show some consistency, though. Okay. I think... I see Makomi's online. That's cool. Let's raid through to Makomi. So, guys, I'll be on the EGC channel both days of the weekend. I hope they'll see you there. I'll see you hyping it up. If you haven't already, go get yourself some Protein Works. Perfect opportunity to do so. Exclamation mark Protein Works in the chat. They've got discounts. We're about to get a new care package coming in. It should arrive probably by Monday, Tuesday at the latest. So we'll be able to show off some of the new goodies. I'm excited to see what they're going to send me, actually. But remember, that Killer Pigeon code does work on top of the discounts that already exist. But thank you for tuning in, guys. And hopefully, I will see you all in the weekend. And hopefully, I'll see you on Monday and Tuesday. Toodaloo.